It's the Groove Girls and Simon.
Nice to be one of the ladies. Thank you for having
me. Aloha, you may not have seen me all month, the month of Debtober, which has been dubbed Debtober, and it's because I was with these fine girls and Simon. We were running a 14-day live stream, nonstop, 24/7. Simon was our Groove at Night hostess with the mostest. Yeah. And yes, I know I said hostess. So I'm going to do a quick round robin so that you can get to know each of these people. If you don't know these magnificent souls already, we have Simon in the middle here. We have Alicia Little over there, our winner. And then we have Kathy Walls right here. And then we have, I have to go the opposite way, Angie Norris. So we'll go around. You guys can introduce yourself, tell the group a little bit about you. But just to set up today and what we're doing is, first I have to apologize for not going live, but it was a little hard to go live in two places, especially since I was producing I wrote this down, 336-hour live stream. And I would not have been able to do it without this fine crew here. And we did it with a last minute notice of how many days notice did y'all get, girls?
Like 3.
Yeah, not many.
Yeah. So pretty much 5 days to plan. Donna Fox may or may not pop in. She was the mastermind that said, listen, let's block the 2 weeks with 4-hour blocks of hosts. So we would find the host, and then the host would find awesome speakers. So right now you are seeing the 4 hosts plus the producer here, and they would invite people. They would invite magnificent speakers, top influencers. So we'll talk a little bit about how you influenced these influencers to pop on also last minute. And then we'll talk about the good, bad, and ugly of going live, the learning lessons that we learned along the way, some things not to do, also how to break the internet, how to break StreamYard. That's the platform we used. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. And the one thing that was interesting is during the Grooveathon, and that's what it was called, this 14-day event for Groove Digital Presents with Mike Filsame. It was for the 14-day launch for GrooveFunnels, Groove Apps, GrooveSell. But these 4 wonderful people used to have the admin access. They would log in as hosts. They could navigate comments. And now you guys are speakers. How does it feel, first of all, to have no responsibility to manage anything?
Fantastic.
Yep.
It's super good. It was
no power, no responsibility, so it's all on you.
But I kind of miss it. I do. Don't you guys kind of miss it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, wait, this is the wrong link. This is a guest link. That's different.
It's so wrong, right, Angie? You're like, I don't get a guest link. I get the host link. And Darcy Hall, I love John Garcia. I feel like we should get him on as well. I just zapped after the 1.5-hour Groove Cart Challenge live training. Very nice, Darcy. So aloha, Rich Benares, Darcy Hall, Crystal Davies, and looks like look, we have David Lemon in the room. Yay! Round of applause. I do miss my applause button, by the way. And David, if you want to pop on, I know you have a baby sleeping in the room, but you are welcome. We do have a 6th spot right here in one of those spots, so let us know. I can Skype you the live link. So let's go around the room just to introduce you to these fine people who ran a 14-day live stream, and then go ahead and ask any questions that you had about the behind the scenes of running the show. We'll talk about equipment. We'll talk about studio setup, all the good stuff. So Simon, since you're right there, let's let Simon go first.
Well, welcome back to Groove at Night, I guess, unofficially. But this is definitely a long time waiting, because I believe many of us have been in withdrawal mode for the past couple of weeks. We definitely had a lot of good times. We definitely made a lot of memories. And for me personally, I was sitting on this chair every single day for those 14 days, an average of 4 hours to 8 hours every single day. And there were times when I was there for more than 12 hours. I think I clocked in over 80 plus hours and over 80 plus hours just as a host on the air. And then over 100 hours just being back up and doing the whole, back screen room type of thing. But it was a tremendous experience. I think there's a lot of things that we definitely have learned along the way, both positive as well as, not necessarily negative, but of course, everything was such a big production. You're going to come across problems. You're going to come across things that don't work out as planned. And I believe that everything that did happen along the way really aided us to become better in what we do. So, thank you very much for having me on here, Coach Deb, along with the girls. It's nice to be part of the ladies here today. And I think we're going to have a tremendous good time and lots of value to share.
I feel like we're a band. It's the Girls of Groove and Simon.
Yeah.
And he's got his Mickey Mouse shirt on, which is just great. It's making us all happy. So let me just talk a little bit about, and then lots of people are joining on. Aloha. David Lemon said, I just had an alarm to wake up and greet you guys. Oh, I love it. Ladies, Simon, y'all rock. Dennis Comstock says, the Wonder Women of Groove, plus one not so woman. Plus Simon. Jessica, hey, Groovester from Sydney. Hey, Simon, I only got off your last time, not even been 12 hours. Did she just join a live stream of yours?
Yes, she did.
We've got an addict here. I love it. I love it, Jessica.
Wearing the same shirt.
Same shirt. So you're going nonstop. It's like Groovathon again. Aloha, Nicole. I believe you're here in San Diego, unless you are in a different location. And Susie, I'm sorry I missed you the entire month of October, but hopefully you'll see with these fine, wonderful people why I was missing in action for all of October. To announce a little bit about Groovathon, we did Groovathon as a fun festivity, give back to the members. It wasn't a sell event. However, it was during the 2-week launch of GrooveFunnels. And I like to say GrooveSell.VIP, which is over on the whiteboard over there, because that's my affiliate link. I did not say that affiliate link for an entire 2 weeks of the Groovathon because it was for Groovathon. But those of you who are on my channel, that's what it was. Some of you already have signed up for Groove. And it wasn't something that was supposed to be a pitch fest. It was more a festival, a party, a conference, a learning event, right? Where we're giving value, we're teaching traffic building, funnel building, SEO tricks, right? Keyword optimization, influence and persuasion strategies. We had someone talk about the DISC model. So everyone taught a variety of things for an entire 2 weeks. And I think we burnt out a lot of our attendees, Simon, because we had a lot of people who would start with David Lemon for Groove at day and then wind up the evening with you for Groove at night. And they would say, like, we haven't left. So they would like go and grab some food and come back, but they had the stream running nonstop. So anyone who watched this live, bravo to you. But let me just share a little bit about the stats from a sales perspective for those of you who are wondering from a business perspective. Okay, you did this 14-day live, but what were the results? Well, happy to report $6.8 million in sales were made during those 2 weeks. Now, if you count the next day, which is right after the Groovathon was over and the launch was over, so sales were done and Alicia was like, I want more because you kept selling, right? But that was another $1 million day. So Sunday was $1 million day. And then Monday was another $1 million day. So I believe it would be more in the 7.8, but we're just reporting the actual Groovathon number. So for those of you who've been wondering for your business, is it worth it to go live? How long should I go live, right? I think each one of you have gotten that question from any type of coaching client. How long should I go live? Well, go 14 days, you might make $6.8 million, right? I think the lesson is the longer you go live, the more you make, the more friends you make, the more connections, the more community. So we'll talk about all of that as we go during this live, and I'll show some of the comments here, but I'm going to hand over the podium to my dear friend, Alicia Little, and what some people don't know was my first coach 19 years ago when I first got into the business was October 1 of 2001. And I pretty much maybe within a month or two immediately hired a coach and someone to show me the ropes of online marketing. And Alicia is that girl. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Alicia. Introduce yourself. I love you. I'm glad we got not only reconnected on Grooveathon, but we also got to see each other in person in Vegas. So
That's
this
great.
is just a total love fest. And then we're going to introduce the two new friends. I love both of you. Yeah, so the three of you, love you. Alicia, tell us who you are. And you also tell us what the sales you made, because you got to top position and you were battling with the girls. We're going to talk a little bit about that. You and Angie were battling. You and Gloria were battling. And Alicia kept saying, no, I'm going for number one. And we know her as the winner. Yes, someone jumped up ahead quickly, but she was the one who followed the rules explicitly and got new clients signed on Groove. So congratulations, Alicia. I would do my round of applause, but I don't have the button anymore. So we're all going to give you a round of applause for winning the number one spot and winning a car. Tell us what you won, who you are, and take it away, Alicia.
Thank you. Thank you, Deb. So the Grooveathon, right before the Grooveathon started, Deb contacted me. I think we were all saying it was like 2 or 3 days before. And it was crazy. She asked me if I would be a host on the Grooveathon. That was the first time I even understood what the Grooveathon was. And I had just joined Groove. So Brian Anderson, who's a great friend of mine, I saw him in Atlanta. I live in Atlanta right now. And he was telling me about Groove, showing me the money that he had made with Groove. And that was just a few days before the Grooveathon started. So totally new to Groove. Hadn't even logged in until a few days before. Then Deb contacted me for the Grooveathon. It was a really great experience. So the Grooveathon, 14 days, absolutely amazing. You know, hats off to the team for pulling that off. When Deb told me what it was, I was like, 14 days nonstop. She had to keep telling me 24 hours, like 14 days, and we're not going to stop. I was like, okay. So I had the Wednesday night slot, which was really good. I also had some help from David Lemon and John Cornetta, who came on and talked to my people. And David did this like amazing walkthrough, which helped me understand the system as well. Like I was getting to know the system as the launch had already started. So it was really great to have the support of that team. Kind of lessons learned from the live. That was the first time that I had gone live for 4 hours straight. So I knew that if I could do 4 hours, I could do 5. So on the last day of the launch, I went live for 5.5 hours straight. And I was live using StreamYard, which is what we're using now, which is what Deb loves to use. And I went live on, I don't know, 8 different channels, like my YouTube, my Twitter, my Facebook. And we went live for 5.5 hours or a little bit more. And my people were with me, and Angie came on, Crystal came on, Les Brown came on, which was really nice. Donna came on, and they were all just, you know, encouraging all the people that we had live to sign up right before the end. And that really helped. So what did that help? It helped me to win a car, which is a lot of fun. So I won the 2021 Mustang Mach-E. And, you know, I have a choice if I'm going to get it in blue or red. I think I'm going for the red because it will match my high heels and my lipstick. But hey, if you pass through Atlanta, I'm going to say, hey, come on, join me for a ride in the Mustang, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So special thanks to the Groove team for making me part of it. And Deb, I love you. We've been friends for a very long time, and we have seen each other all over the world. My favorite time spent with her was in Singapore, but she is such a superstar, so I love her. Thank you.
I think the Singapore goats at the midnight safari was my favorite memory. We're like looking for lions and tigers and bear, and we just kept seeing goats. We're like, the animals are sleeping, but the goats are out.
And when you talked about, Deb, like 20, you know, you went all the way back to 2001. I'm saying, how blessed are we to have this lifestyle, right? And now there's so many more people, thanks to Groove, who are in this lifestyle that we're in. And I wouldn't trade it for, this is my 20th year. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
Yeah, agree. I was reflecting on that too, Alicia, and especially during Grooveathon, where we're bringing all these people in and they kept saying like, this is life-changing. And then, Gloria, we should bring her on last minute too. Hey, Gloria, hey, she came on in 20 minutes to fill in for speakers. So I feel like we could bring on Gloria.
I think so.
She's 65 years old. She looked fantastic for joining in 20 minutes. She said she was going to go to Target And I think Joffrey was like, hey, come on, let's talk. Or Joe Jablonski, because she was one of the top JV partners, and she was selling. And it was a life-changing experience for her, a career changer for her. So it was just super exciting. And I was reflecting on that, Alicia, right? Like, you've put me on stage in parts all around the world and then made the connection. So again, Singapore, Australia, and then the people that you would introduce me, and then that spun off to other speaking events. So yeah, like, what other business can we have that we can work from anywhere, right? From our laptop. And especially this year, I think everyone is starting to realize, gee, I need a little side hustle. I need to be able to work from home because my job, my secure job, may not be as secure as possible. So the car that you won, what is the car exactly? So everyone knows.
It's the 2021 Mustang Mach-E. It's this super awesome Mustang SUV that is just really fast. Just come ride with me and you will see.
and then one of the things, what I love that you shared, Alicia, is you were selling GrooveFunnels through your affiliate link, and you were sending out bonuses, which a lot of people do to get people to sign up under you, right? It's a great strategy for people to go, all right, well, why do you want to sign up under me? Well, you'll get this, this, this. And tell them what you gave as one of the bonuses for people who signed up under you in regards to the car.
So I think the favorite bonus was that my team would build their first landing page for them. And if they were a speaker, we would build their speaker page for them. So, and right after the launch ended is when we started building the pages. I think we built 16 pages in the first 5 days, and we just keep pushing out the pages. So, you know, even though we're teaching people how to use it, that was my strategy until Angie and Crystal taught me different. Like on the last day, I kind of added some more to my strategy. But my strategy was really to show the ease of using the tool. And so then I would show them how to make a landing page. And then I would say, but if you buy under us, we will build your landing page for you. And that got a lot of people really excited about it. And the landing pages, I need to show them to you guys someday. The landing pages look amazing. They look absolutely amazing. Everybody's so happy. One lady was crying. It's just been great to see how much people love their page. And now they can go edit it and add things on their own. So that's really fun. Yeah.
It's a huge bonus because it's what stops most people, right? They'll sign up for something and they go, well, now how do I use it? And they get frozen and they get paralyzed, right? And they don't move forward, which that's not the point. You want to have them, help them succeed. And then Angie, you do some training videos, right? That's one of the things you started doing over the past year.
Actually, when I first came onto Groove, I just became like the knowledge broker, where anyone, it didn't matter if they were under me or just someone in Groove, they would ask a question, and I just loved answering and being a problem solver. And I would just answer questions, do videos, help people, asking nothing in return. And it just was this community of people that wanted to help each other. It was so awesome.
And what I love too, Angie, is how Alicia just gave you a shout out. She's like, I was doing XYZ until Angie told me to switch up the strategy. And Simon and I were talking right before we went on live tonight is, have you recovered yet? Right? Like it took, I don't know about you guys, it took at least a week for me to recover. I was still not rested, even though I was resting, right? And I finally got that day to watch Netflix. Like I hadn't watched it in a month. I hadn't done anything other than just groove, produce, find speakers, right? And I said I had like these withdrawals and PTSD, Groove, right? Every 3.5 hours, I would wake up and be like, did the host show up? Did the host get their code? Are they in? Is everything good, right? Is the weather good in Simon's part of the world? Like, is he okay? Is David okay? Is Amy okay? Right? Like all the people at night, making sure that they were good, right? Because you don't know. And Simon was pretty much all on his own for that first week until we wound up getting Varushka, and she was good backup. But in the beginning, it was just Simon. So I had this like angst of making sure he was okay and making sure he got on. And did you need anyone to cover you, or do you need a break, right? So after that, I just got like this weird every 3.5 hours, I'd be wide awake, right? Not just wake up and then go back to sleep. I'd be wide awake. So I finally got a day to just chill and relax and not work. And one of the things I started watching was The Queen's Gambit on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
Has anyone seen
We
this?
just binge watched that entire thing.
You saw the whole thing, Kathy?
Yeah. 2 days ago we did. Yeah.
Yeah. Same here. This week, I finally got to binge. I was like, finally, like people aren't tugging and pulling. No one needs anything. Highly recommend. And the reason why I bring this up, and Kathy knows, but one of the principles that they talked about is, they're competing in a chess match, right? All around the world. And one of the things that, and again, it was a female chess player. So of course we love this, right, Simon? Simon said, "Go girls of Groove and go female chess players." She was dominating. Again, this is like based on a novel. But one of the things they mentioned is that when she went to go and compete in Russia all helped one another. All the guys in chess, they helped one another. Whereas she was all by herself and she didn't have that support. She didn't have that team support. So when you mentioned, Alicia, when you said how Angie was like, oh, and she taught me to do this. And then, you and I have been talking about like video stuff and everyone's willing to help one another. And I feel, I'm taking this moment right now to highlight this because I feel like 2020 is this epic year of, not only was this Grooveathon epic because women were on the top of the leaderboard, literally winning the best prize. And that's never happened before, especially for a software company. And there was not one, not two, but 3 women competing for the top 5 position, right? And in the top 10 leaderboard, right? So that's been an interesting change of events from when we look at 20 years ago. Alicia and I know, like, the top leaderboard were all men.
All men, always. Right.
Yeah. So I found that, number one, women were starting to help one another, really becoming a bond and a team. And I think that goes across the globe, right? Like anyone that's in internet marketing, right? Male, female, whatever, we're all in this together and realizing if we help one another, we will all succeed. We will all make more money. So that was something that I really saw with Groove and the Grooveathon and everyone helping out, even on Groove Digital team. Like people popped on, like John Garcia is in support and he was doing 3 hours hosting a show. Like he's not a speaker, right? And he was jumping in. He did the Jeopardy party, Groove party or Jeopardy. It was super fun. So just everyone really stepping up and saying, how can I help? How can I help? How can I help? And that leads me to these awesome women that I met in Florida, Kathy and Angie, who were there in person. And I was like, first couple days, they can tell you, I was like literally, I was a hi, bye girl. Hi, bye, right? Like no time to talk, gotta run. We're running into the studio and the house is pretty big. So you're leaving from like the part of the residential house over to the studio. You're running through this long hallway, tripping over cats, jumping hurdles, right? And they had a little coffee maker. And when I say little, I mean like
it was
little,
tiny. Tiny.
And Angie and Kathy, I had such love for both of you because, again, talk about teamwork and talk about just pitching in where it's not your job at all. They're like, how can I support you? And then we're going to go do a run for Starbucks. What would you like? And I can't tell you how much love that was. Like when I would wake up and I would go in the kitchen and like everyone like was gone already. And I'm like, oh, there's this cup of Starbucks. Oh, here's my Saram. There was like this car and it said Deb. And I was like, oh, I don't know if that's for me. And then I was like, oh, it is. It has Deb. So we took a couple pictures. You might have seen some of those videos, but it's just a big shout out to everyone of Groove, especially Angie and Kathy, who I just met. Fabulous girls helping one another. And that cup of coffee, you have no idea. It sustained me. It got me through the 6-8 hours in the morning. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And let's have you introduce yourself, Angie. Tell us a little bit about you. You were in the lead as well. Congratulations. You sold a ton. And it's funny because you sold so much, you don't even have a count. So tell us a little bit how much you've sold with Groove to date.
Sure. So my name is Angie Norris, and I'm super excited because this Groove Digital has welcomed me into their family. And I am the first certified GrooveFunnels ambassador because I believe in this company. And I came on the scene in June, so it wasn't that long ago. And I didn't even try to sell the software. I was just buying the software for myself because I believe in it. It's saving me money already. And I was excited for finally a game-changing software that's all-in-one. And then I started sharing the opportunity just because I knew that other people had the same issues that I did with other software companies. And so it just started selling itself. And I started to get sales within a few hours. Sales were flying in. Within 3 days, it was $4,000 in expected commission. Within a week, it was $15,000 expected commission. Within 30 days, it was $30,000 expected commission. And within 60 days, it was well over 60. And I think, including tier 2, over 75,000 K in expected commission within 60 days. And I've lost count. And it's a good problem to have. I had the spreadsheet and I just, you know what? I am just so thankful. It has been life-changing. They have also had me as a presenter on Group Digital Presents, which actually even bumped my career even further in this online space. And I've spent 20 years corporately trying to follow my dream of owning my own business online. I started that a year ago, and it took me months of making zeros to finally find a company that I'm passionate about. I love all the people, just like Deb was saying, and Alicia and Kathy, like we just like rise together. Like none of us are financially connected, and we're helping each other because we believe that if we all put our heart into this company, we all believe that we all can win. And so I'm excited to be here. Thank you, Deb. And I'm happy because I got to spend over almost 25 hours hosting, if you include me and Mike's session too. And it was a blast. It was so fun. I was so honored. And we didn't get paid for it. We did this on a volunteer basis because we wanted to be a part of history. And I think we were almost Guinness Book of World Records, right, Deb?
Yes, we absolutely beat any Guinness Book of World Record. And I think, Simon, that was like in the first 5 days, right? We already blew it away.
Yeah, the closest one I believe was about 7 days, about a week, but all they did was watch TV, right? They were watching Game of Thrones, was it? And they were watching it on repeat. I think they watched the same series or the same season 2 or 3 times, and that's all they did. There was no content. They weren't doing anything of value. And, you know, I think we definitely just on a content standpoint blew them out of the water in just the first few hours.
Anyone can turn on the video and watch TV. Like,
exactly.
I don't even know how that is in the Guinness book. Like, seriously, what? How is that an accomplishment? Like, people do that every day.
Right.
Yeah. So yes, we beat the world, the Guinness book. So we definitely made history in so many ways. And I kept saying that to Mike, and he's like, I'm glad you feel that way. And, you know, and why do you feel that way? And again, I feel like it was epic and historic because number one, I don't know that much has ever been made in a launch period, right? 6.8. I think that was record breaking. Having women lead and compete and being in the top 10, like multiple, I think there were five total in the top 20, right? And then there was a bonus 21, which was funny. That's kind of the culture of Groove, right? It's just the little cheeky being funny. So they had 21 in the top leaderboard. But yeah, so there were so many things that made this epic. And I've been part of live streams all day, right? So not 24 hours, but like an 8-hour live stream, kind of like the Jerry Lewis telethon, but we're selling. And we would have $1 million days. So it was 12 entrepreneurs over the 12 months span. And it was kind of the same thing where some of these we put together within a month. I think Christy Whitman, I don't think there was much more than a month of planning to do a 1 day, all day live stream. And we would get the day before to record a couple segments so that we could play that while she would go eat something or take a quick break. What do they call it? A bio break, right? Mm-hmm. So we would have like these little segments to give them a break. And we made, again, it was $1 million sales day, which I thought was epic. But now we've got a $6.8 million sales launch because of a 14-day live stream. So I love what someone said earlier. They quoted me on the how long should you go? I think it was, where is it over here? They were laughing. I wanted to show your, oh yeah, here we go. Nicole Jolie, how long should I go live? 14 days. So now on, anytime anyone asks me, and any of you coaches, if they go, oh, how long we should go? What is our answer going to be? 14 days. Of course. It's kind of like, how much money do you want to make? How much of an impact do you want to make, right? How legendary do you want to be? Because again, who does this? Who's done this before? Nobody. So I love the fact that we did something that nobody's done before. And that leads me to the next person that I met in Florida. Love you as well, Kathy. And same thing. You stepped up to the table when I was like, hey, you want to host? Because we still had a block, right? Like I had
Right.
5 days to get some of these host blocks full, and I wanted to at least get the first week before I left for Florida. And I also knew if I flew to Florida and did it in person in the studio, number one, I could set up the whole studio. We could get multi-cam shot, like making sure it was in that level of TV quality, right? But the other thing is when Mike said how there would be people coming in, some flying in, some local, I'm like, I can recruit them easier in person, because how can you say no when you're like right there? And I feel like there was a little bit of resistance, right? And I don't know, Angie and Kathy, if there was a little bit, and not necessarily resistance, like I don't want to do it, but like a little bit of fear or nervousness, or could I do this? And Lisa, you even said like for 4 hours, like when do we go 4 hours live, even, let alone
What do you
14
even
days
talk
straight?
about? I think that's what a lot of people are worried about, right?
Yeah.
What do I talk about for 4 hours? But when you get on there, it just flies by.
Yes.
And
So, Kathy, introduce yourself a little bit, and then how, when you rose to the call and you answered and said yes, which I love both of you because you're yes girls. So I was like, yeah. And then a couple of people I have to say, especially for like the weekend, I was like, it's my birthday, and I think it's a rule you can't say no for the person's birthday. And I may have done that for the week. I was like, this is September, it's my birth month. You can't say no, right? So I think I used every power of persuasion possible. So, Kathy, tell us a little bit about you, your success with Groove, your success in speaking. Were you nervous? And tell us a little bit about answering the call and going live for 4 hours.
Will do. My name is Kathy Walls. I found Groove about the end of, about the same time as Angie, actually. It was right at the very end of May and first of part of June. And I did like she did. I started this because I was looking for a solution, an all-in-one solution. And I was about to become a grandma. Actually, I just became one, and we were on our way to Kentucky to meet our grandbaby. And that is when we found Groove, and we signed up in the vehicle. We're like, done. So we were like, yeah, all right. And I dropped some posts, and in a week, it was 4,000 and 7,000 and then 10,000. I mean, it just kept coming in. And I'm like, this is great. And all I was doing was just saying, hey, Groove is an all-in-one solution. If you're looking for something different, here it is. This is why I signed up, and then that came about. And then Angie and I were going to go meet some friends in Florida. And then we're like, well, we'll just swing on by, because Mike and the Mass, said, come on down. And we're like, all right. And that's where we met Deb, who, let me tell you what, that I was just so shocked on you were just so razor sharp on what you were doing there, and just go. And we're like, does she ever get up to go to the bathroom? Does she need anything? And we're like, listen, anything we can do to take something off, because we didn't, we just thought we'd be flies on the walls. We didn't know we were going to be, thrown in the middle of it, but we were super excited for it. And then when you were like, hey, you all go on with Joe, and Joe was nervous, and we're like, what? Joe, you're nervous? Because he's so funny. When you meet him in person, he's just so super funny. But
yeah.
So Groove has been really good to us. I mean, I'm making a lot of money, and I'm just sharing it, and I'm helping people with it. And I get to go December 11th on Groove Digital Presents, is whenever I present my stuff. I'm super excited about that. Whenever Deb said, hey, I need something, there was not a hesitation in my part, because I seen what y'all were doing. I'd seen it firsthand, and I seen how much the people behind the scenes cared about what was going on. So for me, there was no questions about it. And I'm not really a shy person anyway, so I was really comfortable with being on screen, but I was worried about, what am I going to talk about for 4 hours, or 3 hours here and 2, whatever. But as soon as it came on, and I seen so many people affected by this, because you had information that you could utilize immediately, right? And put inside of your business and use. And I was seeing all the people coming in, and they were so excited. It was so amazing. And there was no way I was going to say no to that, because it was just an honor just to be asked, right? It was an honor to be there, to meet you guys in person, and to see the people behind the scenes, and see how much Mike and Joe and John and the other John and Matt, everybody, and Donna, everybody really, really cares about the user experience. Everybody cares about the affiliates. To me, it was like meeting family. I feel like I'm a part of a family here, and I believe that we're on to something super good, and we are at the beginning. And I cannot be more proud to be a Groove Angel.
Oh, I love that. Groove Angel, new word.
Yeah.
Unless it's been said and I just didn't hear it. I love that. I love you, Kathy. And I think that's the other thing that you mentioned is everyone was willing to say yes, again, unless obviously they had some type of commitment or something came up. But everyone is so, like, the biggest response, like Alicia, you represented what a lot of other people said the second I called anything for Mike. So that's the other thing is when you have a leader that people respect and feel a sense of gratitude for how he's launched, I think, every one of our career, right? Going back 20 years ago, Alicia, right? Like he was there at the events in the beginning. And I think that's how I may have met you, right? Through one of the events, and I signed up for the coaching. So we have this sense of indebtedness to him, a gratitude to him, and this appreciation because he created this. And it's not easy to create and manage and run and build and update software. I know, because I've done it before. Alicia was one of the people that helped me when I founded a software company back in 2004, I think it was, or 2003. I may have launched it in 4, but was building it in 2003. And again, like a female-run software company, it was the first website builder. And it was hard, right? And updating it, it was great passive revenue though, right? Every month you're making a ton. There was a bleep there. A ton, right? So again, it's great. And now we have this and I go, well, this is better than creating it because all I have to do is sell it and promote it. And even like Angie, you were talking earlier, the tier 2, I think you said something about 18,000 or more or whatever, just in tier 2. So it was just the people that you turned on to Groove and then they're selling. So it's definitely life-changing. It's definitely game-changing. And Kathy, you really emphasized it well. It's like everyone was saying yes because we all enjoyed being part of something exciting. So if you do want to do this type of epic event, have something exciting to talk about, first of all, right? Like be an exciting company, be an awesome company. And then it's super easy to get people to say yes. Now, the challenges were when people said yes, but then life happened, right? Like Varushka did one of the interviews where I was filling a spot for someone, and that was one of the titles we had, like managing 336 squirrels, because that's how many time blocks we had to fill. So I was looking at it, I'm like, I looked at this big screenshot of the spreadsheet and I was like, this 336 hours we're filling. And it's all these entrepreneurs who are squirrels to begin with, right? Like you guys, I think, probably all had some maneuvering with your speakers because you were each host. So I'm guessing, did you guys each have some challenges maneuvering people canceling last minute, not showing up, Angie shaking her head?
I had the system shut down in the middle of one of mine. It just stopped. Everybody's like, where'd it go? And I'm like, I have no idea. And
you broke it, Kathy?
I broke it. I was freaking out in the middle of it. And so Donna had to come on. She's like, because everybody's like, I can't see your person. I can't see your person. It's just a spinning thing. And I'm like, but we're talking. I can see him just fine. And I've never had that happen. And she's like, oh my gosh, we got to reboot the whole system. Hang on. And that was, unexpected. I mean, you're live and you're doing whatever. And so then we had to start all over. And, and I think some of that kind of pushed some of the people off on getting in on the right time, time slots getting put back into, the right space. But yeah, it was handled like a champ though. I'm just like, I was so nervous and like, do I just keep talking and they can hear me or, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Donna, the response time from you guys behind the scenes, it's amazing. It was so amazing because she immediately seen it and she immediately came in and fixed it.
Yeah. And just for the audience watching, friends watching, we broke it. Simon, can you confirm 3 times the internet, our stream?
I think there was definitely more than 3 times. Every 2 or 3 days over the 14-day period. So you can probably do the math, probably 5 or 6 times. And it didn't even break. Like it was the shortest the first time. And then
I thought it was
it was the longest the first. No, It was the shortest the first time,
Yeah.
and then it extended a day the second time, but then went back to 3 days
Yeah.
the third time. So it wasn't very consistent, but definitely
Yep.
we had StreamYard crash down on us, and we didn't always have somebody to restart. So that actually equates to a lot of the technical challenges that we had. And going off on the point on what you mentioned, I think for me, I definitely had cancellations, and multiple times. And there was one big one, right, where we had a shift in the schedule, and I had to go, and then you and Donna had to fill in at the very last minute. And there was even contemplation on thinking that you would actually put up a sign that says that the GrooveAthon isn't going to be on for the next 4 hours because everyone's sleeping, and we had no replacements, right? So there were a lot of things that were being discussed, and also for me on the first night, remember when David Lemon asked me to go on? He said for 5 minutes, right? And then what happened was he couldn't get back on. StreamYard kicked him out, and for an hour. Literally an hour, I was talking just to be talking. I had no idea what I was talking about at that point. It was my very first time on StreamYard. I didn't know that I can interact with people. So there were all these comments that were coming in that I wasn't seeing, which would have been so much easier, right? But I was looking at the Skype in the group where David is saying, I can't log in. I'm kicked out. StreamYard is not doing, and Donna was just, hey, stay calm. It's okay. Everything's cool. Simon is on the air. And I was just like sweating bullets, like, what am I going to talk about, without knowing when he's going to come on next again, right? And it happened again in one of my interviews. Ernesto, right? And it was very, very ironic because Ernesto was scheduled to talk about how live streams can go wrong. And his teaser question was, when should you go live, right? And the answer was never. You should go as live, because when you're on live, things can go wrong. What if you can't log in? What if all these things happen, right? Yeah. And the morning, I don't remember if you remember, I actually set a time, like I filled in that extra slot because that was the only time that he could make it. And so I filled that time, but he wasn't there. And for 30 minutes, I was multitasking, and I was on Messenger with him, and he was saying, StreamYard doesn't let me log in, right? And I see him pop in. 3 seconds later, he pops back out. And then he pops back in, and then 3 seconds later, he pops back out. So he was evidently having trouble logging into StreamYard. I don't know how many times this actually happened. It happened to David Lemon. It happened to Ernesto. I'm just thinking I have really bad luck, right? And so for 30 minutes, I was trying to, again, fill in time, trying to figure out what I'm going to say at that point in time when I know that I'm trying to, put out the fire while all these people are trying to log in. And you never know when they're going to actually be able to make it. Right. So on the first day, right, was David Lemon not going to come back because that 5 minutes turned out to be an hour. And I don't even remember what I said. Yeah, 55 minutes. I don't remember what I said. Yeah. I don't remember if it made sense or not, right? I don't remember any of it. I felt like I was blacked out. I was probably drunk or hungover or something. It was just something that I probably wanted to forget. It was very traumatic. And it was one of my first experiences on StreamYard. And so obviously, as we mentioned earlier, any problems just allows you to keep growing, to improve. And the next time that it happens, I can probably go on for 4 or 5 hours. Yeah, take your time. Don't log in if you don't want to. I got this, right? So definitely it helps us to improve along the way for sure.
Yeah. And what you just said there, it's almost like when you run a marathon or you do any type of sports or weightlifting, the more you stretch yourself, the easier it gets the next time. Right. Like I'm in La Jolla, California with all these hills, and biking the first time these hills, I was dying, like just dripping sweat, like, oh my God, like barely getting a breath in. I was just, but I didn't want to quit. Right. And I'm like, no, I got this. I'm good. Right. But then the next time it was easier, and the next time it's easier. And then I got an electric bike. And it was way easier. So sometimes the technology is going to cure all your problems. But yeah, so Simon, like what you just described is stretching yourself. And I feel like Ernesto, with his theme of never go live, well, he sure manifested never go live.
Yeah.
I feel like he made that happen. But those are good stories for people to hear, Simon, because I feel like everyone that is any sort of business owner, realtor, entrepreneur, Groovester, whatever it is that you sell. If you're a fitness person and you're selling fitness classes, a lot of personal trainers now. Yeah, sometimes it is scary the first time, and it is nerve-wracking. And like Kathy said, I think everyone said this, what am I going to talk about for the time? And somehow, like Simon just described, he didn't die. He didn't spontaneously combust, right? Nothing, he's still with us. He's alive, right? And it's okay. And then now you stretch that muscle. You've stretched that live stream muscle. And we also maxed out and taxed, right, this new technology, right? StreamYard's that's not been around since Zoom days, right? So I'm sure there are other issues. And I don't think anyone's gone 14 days. So when someone said, someone said, you should get your money back because obviously going live, maybe you said this time, is like going live nonstop, there is a bandwidth. Right, because we found like around the 5th day, all of a sudden Kathy experienced it, someone else experienced it. All of a sudden, everyone got this spinning. The one time Mike was in the studio and we're like, I don't think you're live at all. Like, I think we just died. And then Simon and I were like, did someone hit that end broadcast button? Did someone do that? Because we were giving everyone host control. So there are definitely a few things that,
right,
if we were to build a new software, we have a list now of all the things that we would want differently, like give somebody a panelist access like Zoom does, right? Or like GoToWebinar does. So those are definitely things, because like people can end your broadcast. And Simon and I and David Lemon were like, we have a little Twitch group in Skype. We call it like the Twitch cool kids, because we're talking about Twitch and things that people are like, what is this Twitch and TikTok? But we were saying, like, we were speculating, did someone hit that end broadcast button? And we don't think it is in the end, because it happened 3 times and it was around that 5.5 day, or 5 and 8 hours, or 5 and 9 hours.
right.
All of a sudden it just got the spinning. So we have tested it, and we can just tell you, if you want to go live uninterrupted, only go 4 days. Otherwise you'll probably break it.
Yeah. And I wanted to say that what was crazy is that when you guys asked us to be host, you just said, here's your times. And that was it. Like, you didn't tell us what to do, what to talk about. You didn't give us any guidelines. You didn't say who to interview, nothing.
There was no time for that. It was just, can you do this time? Okay,
here's
next
your time.
person.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy, because it was like you guys ended up handing me 21 hours or something like that to host. And I'm thinking, who wants to hear it from Angie Norris for 21 hours, right? Then I got smart and I thought, ooh, I'm going to leverage other people. And I got people in, and I did have a breakdown as well. And I was sweating, just like you were saying, Simon, because what happened is that the stream broke in the middle of the night, but I didn't know that. So the guest links didn't work. And my guests weren't coming on. So then I just kept talking, and I had already done so much hosting that I had already kind of given all my content away, right? I mean, not all of it, but I gave all the planned content. So I was winging it. And I'm winging it. And my people are like, I'm trying to get in it. It's not working. And no one was awake, because this is at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time, on a Saturday morning. Everyone's sleeping, getting their rest for Grooveathon. And I'm thinking, no one is helping me. No, I mean, I had messaged everybody and their brother. And finally, Simon, your hair was hilarious. You're like, if the screen broke, I'll fix it, But it was just so funny, because it's just the stuff that you learn. And I think I did pretty good composure, but inside, I mean, I was really freaking out, going, I can't. If this keeps happening for the next 3 hours, what am I going to talk about? No one wants to hear from me, But anyway, it was really a good experience, and we all learned from it. And StreamYard, I've grown to love StreamYard, and I can't wait to see what Groove's coming out with. So
yeah, we're gonna have a list for what we want with Groove Stream, right? Yeah,
I think it's really great too that with all of what we've been doing, people to see that we look like we're well put together. We're on there, and then they hear these horror stories of us, the stuff's breaking down, and we're texting people behind the scenes, and we're like, what do we do? What do we do? So then they see that, even whenever us that have, people see us as influencers or whatever, they see that even we have problems, and it makes it more relatable and maybe a little less scarier for them, because they go, oh, well, they probably dealt with this too, right?
Yeah. It's not just the beginner that is going to deal with issues, right? It doesn't matter how long you've done lives, right? Something's going to break. It's inevitable, but do it anyway. right?
Just get out there and just do it. It doesn't matter what happens,
Yeah.
And people understand that. And that's what I think, if once people see that and understand that they're people, I mean, you would be understanding, you think about it. Would you be understanding if the person you're watching has technical difficulties? Yes. You're not going to hate on them because of that, right? You're going to be like, oh man, this happens to them too. Okay. Yes. It's not just me.
Yeah.
So,
and anyone who's been through technical difficulties, you have this empathic connection then, because you're like, oh my gosh, I've been there. Yeah. And I think what each of you are describing too is like how much you're performing and talking and going, hi, everything's, and then you're like texting on the keyboard, like, can you show up? I'm here by myself, right? Keep the smile on, right? Typing. Yeah, so it's inevitable that technology is going to beat you, right? And this is when I always like to think of the Rocky, that moment where he's talking to his son. It's like, it doesn't matter how many times that life knocks you down. It's the same thing with tech, right? Whether it's Groove Tech, because it's in beta, right? Groove members coming out now. We're going to have some issues as we first start. Like the first movers and shakers are always going to have the most problems, by the way.
Right.
And yet the first movers and shakers and action takers are also going to reap the most rewards.
Yes.
Right. Alicia, I think you can speak to that. I know for myself, when I created software, again, I love someone was like, oh, you created software when you were 4. I love you. Yeah, like I got all of the rewards because there was no competition, zero. Right. So same thing. If you're a realtor, if you're a mortgage broker, and these are some of the people that I know like are constantly on these weekly lives, right? You're moving and shaking, you're doing all these things. No one expects you to be a pro speaker or a pro live streamer. But if you're doing it over your competitors, guess who will get the clients? I have this one realtor that started and he's like, I don't know what I'm doing with this video, but okay. And he just let his personality shine. And all of a sudden he's getting like leads from Instagram and from YouTube, and people are like, oh yeah, I was watching your show and do you have blah, 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 or they sent him a referral, and all of a sudden he's getting business because he is showing up. So whatever business that you're in, just show up. And Alicia, if you want to talk a little bit about being that first action taker. So I have never seen anyone really just go like, no, I'm not settling for number 2 or 3. I want to be 1. And you had this all-encompassing mission, like this is what I want. So tell us a little bit what was driving you. Just a little bit about your mindset behind that.
Yeah, sure.
I loved watching it.
Sure. I mean, I think the big thing that was driving me is that you guys made it so much fun. So it was a fun contest. We were all having fun with it. Yeah. Of course, I wanted to be number 1 because of the cars. Like, let's have more fun with it. But also really from a marketing perspective, and you know that I love marketing. So having like setting a goal and just going for it. And no matter what happens, you're like, you look at that, this is what I need to do to get to number 1, and I'm going to do it. And you just keep learning along the way. So I would also say that the contest helped me to become a better marketer. I've been doing this for 20 years, but I learned so much in just spending the launch time focused on the launch. And Deb, I just want to go back 1 second to the software that you created, like the website builder software before there ever was website builder software. Like you created this website builder software before GoDaddy even created website building software. And the one thing that I remember back in the day, we're going back 17 years ago. Right?
Yeah.
That you taught by demoing the software. So when anybody would see you demo it and how easy it was to build it, then they would be in like this. That was it. And if, people were like, oh, if she can do it, I can do it. Because you also said, I'm not that, I'm not that, techie. I'm not a techie. I'm not that great when it comes to software and all this, but I can do this. And I have this built for me and my business. And now you guys can use it. So you really did a lot of, I would see you speak on stage and you would give a demo of the software, and then people felt like, I can do this. And that's one of the things that I did with Groove, is that I demoed and I would have people time me. So when I would go live, I would say, time see how fast I could build a landing page. And I always built it in under 3 minutes. And then people were just like, wow, look what you did. So I really believe that, you know, when you're committed and when you're looking at that thing that you're promoting, really get to know it, be a user of it, and show people what you can do with it, and then put a fun element. So the reason I made people time me was because it brought them in and it brought a fun element. And I was like, I'm going to do it in under 5 minutes. Who believes I could do it? And I had some people that were like, you can't do that in under 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And that just encourages me more to do it. And I'm like, I'm doing it fast. I'm like building a landing page really fast while teaching them at the same time. So I think your question was really what made me push for number one. And it was the fun of the contest and the competitiveness. And, I don't know, you guys made it a lot of fun, but I'll also say that I've always, shot for number one. And that's why affiliate contests are so good. Yeah. So even as you're promoting Groove, the people that are listening to this, promoting Groove, create another contest within your community. What we're going to run is another contest within our community to give people something to shoot for. So the Groove affiliate contest might be over, but now we can run for our community where we see who can get to the number one position and make it fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, so you're doing that with your tier, basically.
Right, with my tier.
Great. I've never heard of someone doing that. A contest within a contest.
A contest within a contest. I mean, Groove's contest is done, but now everybody else everybody helped me get to the position so that I could. Right. So now it's time for me to help them by having an internal contest with us all. So we're all in a Facebook group right now. We're going to do week-long training next week. By the way, I'm going to ask you to come on.
Okay. I have to say yes now. Great.
Week-long training. But hey, the biggest lesson I learned was have fun with it while you're doing it. Demo it, which is something that I saw you do 17 years ago. And
you have a great memory, by the way. I'm like, I don't remember doing that at all. So that's pretty cool. Like, as you're saying, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that's what we did. Yeah. Yeah.
That was to me, looking at what you were doing, that was the strategy. I don't know if you had another strategy built into there, but that was the strategy, actually showing how easy it was to use it. So I wish we had some videos of you on stage back then. Do you have any?
I'm sure I do. And they're super grainy, but yes. And one of them was, again, I was a coach. I had a whistle and it was in a tennis outfit. That was like my first speaking outfit. I'm like, I'm not going to wear a suit. I'm not doing suits. Right. And that was, one of my outfits. I'll have to dig them up. Simon, actually, I'm adding him back to the stream here. Simon was actually my first video on my YouTube channel, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he goes, I don't know how you got me to do that. And it was with a flip camera. It was a flip. No. So I think that's the other thing, Elisa, you and I are very similar, and Angie and Kathy experienced it, where I was just like, go ahead, do a video, right? I don't really give people an option. So that's what Simon said. I didn't give you an option. I just said, you'll be great.
Yeah, you do it.
You can do it. I'll see you then.
Yeah. And funny enough, that I think that was also the first time somebody stuck a camera to my face and told me to talk, right? I'm recording, talk, right? And so obviously, definitely nothing. And the reason why I did this right when you probably was, do not send out that link. Do not show it, because apparently it's on one of Deb's old accounts on YouTube that she can't even access anymore. So I can't even bribe her to delete it even if I wanted to. Yeah. But it's such a horrible video. I cringe every time I watch. I don't even want to watch it. That's the thing. Every time I think about it, I feel like cringing. But yeah. And coincidentally, or maybe not coincidentally, you were talking about how Mike is revolutionary in bringing us together. That was also the first event that we met, and it was also Mike and Donna's and Tom Beal's events at the time. Timmy, right? TIMME, the Internet Marketing event in Baltimore back in September 2006. And so, he's been responsible for bringing a lot of us together as well. But yeah, the very first time somebody stuck that camera to my face and said, talk. And I had no idea what I was going to talk about. I had no idea what I was going to say. And it was just something that was, right? It just became what it was. And so, just like what we said, right? Continue, create your first video, then make it your first 50 videos, and then make it your first 100 videos. Eventually, when you make enough crappy videos that you're embarrassed and humiliated with, right, then your good videos will come out. But hopefully, when you do that, make sure you have the power to delete it. Not like me. Don't make the same mistake I made.
Don't listen
So
to him.
in other words, don't make Deb put a camera to your face and say talk, because she will upload it into a YouTube account that she can no longer access, and it will be there forever.
Trust me, there's a lot of embarrassing ones of me on there as well. But I thought you were going to say, after you do like 100 crappy videos or 1,000, go 14 days live and then see what happens.
Yeah. Or just skip all of that and just go 14 days live first and then see what happens.
Like Kathy and Angie, they're like the first 20 hours going live. Alicia, were you out to say something when Simon
I was saying somebody said they would love to see you on stage. I would love to see you bring back the Coach Deb look, right? So Coach Deb back in the day, Simon, I don't know if you remembered her back in the day, Coach Deb on stage, but it definitely was tennis skirts, whistle, right? That whole coach. Yeah, it was really cute. The guys all bought. They didn't know what they were buying, but they all bought the website builder.
There's a strategy there for you. Hey, I've got a hoodie. That's kind of like the next best thing of a tennis outfit, right?
Yeah.
I just didn't want to be a suit, right? Like this is not a suit lifestyle.
It was fun. You branded yourself as Coach Deb, and people would see you in your sports outfit, and it was fun. Yeah. So, you have to have fun in this industry. You have to have fun when you're, selling. We're all selling. If we're in this industry, we're selling something, right? Either our own products, affiliate products, everything. You have to have fun with selling. I love selling. Don't you guys love selling?
Yeah, I think so. There we go. Bringing back the ladies. And I feel like, did you guys feel like you were victim to my, hey, go live? Like Simon? Were you guys nodding when he was saying that?
I was definitely thinking this, and this is another story, if you don't mind me saying this, is my first time I went on a webinar was when I was asked to be a guest on Recession Proof Secrets, which was earlier this year. And somehow they talked me into being a co-host. And I thought, why not? And my first female presenter was Alicia Little. So that is how we met. So fun.
Hello, hi. Welcome back to Groove at Night.
Just have the two of you.
No, it was back when I was really green, right? Like I new to this space, new to this whole thing, a lot of male influencers, but not a lot of female influencers. And so I remember having you on, and I was nervous as all could be, but I got you on there and we started talking and you started presenting it. And I just thought, wow. And the experience, the trials and tribulations you've had, but you pushed through, the empire you've built, despite of the circumstances that you've had, were just so mind-blowing. It has inspired me to keep going, because right now I have times of imposter syndrome. I have times of, am I cut out for this? Or how am I going to accomplish all of these things if maybe I should just go the easy route and go back to corporate? And I look at people like you and it's like, wow, like if she could push through those types of circumstances and those types of trials, then man, I just got to keep pushing. I just got to keep pushing. So I am, like Deb was talking about earlier, just having female people to look up to and to be inspired by. And like, I've been labeled as a Groove influencer, right? But I look up to all the real influencers in this space, and I just think, wow, like you guys are paving the way. You're showing us, you're helping us, you're giving us guidelines, and you're sharing your tips and strategies for all of us to win, not just with Groove, but just in our own passion points in our lives. And so I just want to say, Alicia, thank you so much for being so inspiring.
You're so sweet. And thank you so much for inviting me to speak at Recession Proof Secret. I never knew you were nervous. You didn't come off as being nervous at all. You were so professional. That was we have a great like picture snapshot from there. But you did so amazingly well. And I love what you were able to teach me when it came to Groove. And I was listening to you and Crystal, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't think about that. And so, Deb mentioned this earlier, but I love as women how we're working together, and there's just so much more great things to come, right? So we're so excited that, Angie, you are rocking it. You are kicking butt. You keep saying that. I don't think I'm such an influencer. Look at you. Like, how much money have you collected from Groove already? How many people have you helped? You know what really, I was like, the biggest wow for me with you and Groove was when you showed how much you made on second tier commissions.
Yes.
I mean, to make that on second tier commissions in a week, your weekly snapshot. I'm like, what is she doing with the people on her second tier? So I'm going to bring you on my Groove week that I'm doing, because we want to know what you're doing to encourage the second tier and build it. You're rocking it.
Yeah. I mean, I think what I'm doing is this. I look at this as, hey, we could just sell the software and then you'll never, ever interact with the person who bought.
Right.
But they have created an environment and a tool where you can have their email address right in your dashboard. You can email them, you can message them, you can get them into a community. And so why not develop them? Why not help them win? Why not give them your tips and tricks so they can sell better? And yes, you're going to get a benefit from it, but it's more impact over income. And so that's kind of the method that I've done just naturally, because Groove has made it that easy. And I think, like, if people look at the downline management, I'll say, and it's not an MLM, and it's not a network marketing company, it is a 2-tiered commission plan where they have made it so easy. I mean, so she's talking about, I had my weekly commission, it came out and it was $15,000 plus.
Amazing.
And in tier 2 commission, which is mind blowing. But, and also looking for people on that could you leverage this as well. And so that's all I've done is I've done purely organic Facebook marketing. That is it. I don't have a list. I don't have a YouTube channel. Never done anything paid to date. I plan on doing other things, but I'm getting there. And I just think, like, the opportunities there. If I could do this, anyone has the opportunity, and we're not competing. Like, I was so excited to see you at the top and I was rooting for you to get number one, and you are number one in my mind. But I was so excited because I know that my efforts have been purely over the last year, right? You have been doing such great things over the last, building your tribe over 20 years. And so for me to see other women in the top is making me so happy, because I want there to be more of a presence. I think that's what drew a lot of the Groove people, like Mike. He reached out to me, we got on the phone, and he said, I'm just going to be completely honest with you. We don't see a lot of women that are winning, that are entrepreneurs, that can speak well enough to present. And we just want you to know that, because we don't want you to feel exploited or anything. And I'm like, exploit it. Because for me, if it's helping me win, great, because we shouldn't be ashamed that we're women. I mean, we shouldn't be, right? And so I'm just excited because we have so many females in this space, and there's a lot of awesome men, obviously. But just having the females, just that personal touch and that detail orientation, I just feel like we're all going to rise together, and it's going to be so epic because we're just getting started. I'm so excited.
I agree. And on that point, look what Mike has done when it comes to diversity as well, right? So male and female, yes, but look at the age, the race, the global, how many of us are from all over the world. And I think the GrooveAthon really helped with that as well. And on your other point, you said something earlier. You were like, we don't have any financial connection to each other. So Angie came on my webinar on the last day, and she was pushing my people. And one of the things that she said was, bottom line, everybody, you just need to upgrade to platinum, do it right now. And there was no financial benefit for Angie to do that. Brian Anderson is the one who pushed me to do this. And I'm not under Brian Anderson. I'm under someone else. And he helped me. David Kavanaugh harassed me every day to say, come on, push more. You can do better than that. And he has no financial gain. So I love to see that they've built such a community that we're helping each other and we're pushing each other. And that comes from the culture of the company. There are plenty of companies who don't have that culture. We both know that, right, Angie?
Absolutely.
There's plenty of companies who don't have that culture. And I really appreciate Groove pushing diversity, right? Male, female, race, and just international. And that's been really important to me and to the people that I'm talking to and pulling in as well, is that this company pushes diversity. They want the women. They're pushing for people of different races. And that makes us, I mean, look at just the 5 of us that are on here and where we're from and right, our background. So that's been real important to me too. But congratulations, Angie. You're awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, actually, because of Groove, I am getting ready to cross over $500,000 in sales from Groove software sales, my own personal sales, Groove related, and other things because of the Groove movement. And so I just think that like that is life-changing for me, life-changing for the people that I've hired, life-changing for the people that I'm affecting. And I just think, wow, it's just so amazing.
That is amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome. I want my applause button now. I need to get my applause button back. Round of applause, round of applause. Adding back Simon and Kathy. And I love Jeanette.
Some claps too, because I've known Angie for a couple of years now.
Round of
We've
applause.
been through the trenches together. So it's whenever she got onto this and I got onto this, and we're from the same state, but we've never met in the same state. We've always been somewhere else. And we're literally 2 hours apart. But whenever we were doing this and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this and she's doing this. And we're like, yeah. And when she did her live for Groovathon or the Groove Digital Presents, I literally was like so happy for her. And I was watching and I was texting her and it was almost like, I mean, I'm all tearing up now because I was so proud of her. And because I've seen what she could do and I knew she could do what she was going to do and come out with. And it's just amazing because Alicia, I didn't even know you before this. And whenever I seen you on Groovathon, I was like, oh my God, I was just mesmerized by the way you presented yourself and everything you brought in and meeting Mike and Michelle and everybody. I mean, it's just an amazing community. And I'm super proud to be Angie's friend and one of her business besties, and just watching everybody grow in here. And David Kavanaugh, I mean, shoot, he will help anybody under the sun, right? He's so funny. I love him. But you guys, everybody, and I know everybody's like, what? You know, it really is. We don't care. We have no financial ties anywhere. And we're like, I'm like, go join Angie's course. If you need help, go join her stuff, you know, or, you know, if you need SEO, go help. David Kavanaugh is like super great, you know, and, you know, Simon does all these videos for Groove you need to watch, you know. It's amazing. The diversity, like you were saying, I love the fact that we're women in here and we're rocking it. You know, I have an e-commerce.
Yes, we are.
Simona, you're doing great. I love you.
But, you know, I came from an e-commerce background, but I was looking for something else. I was looking, you know, I made tons of money doing e-commerce. I could talk to you all day about print on demand and making money that way, but I was looking for something else, right? And that's when I found the funnel, you know, life. I didn't even know it existed 2 years ago, right? And I'm like, okay, I need to make a decision. I need to, people were like, where do I find you? Where do I follow you? All I did was teach how to use the softwares of whatever I was doing. And whenever you do that, people start following you, right? I didn't even have anything. People are like, where can I find you? I don't know. I hid behind my products for 10 years, right? I didn't need to be the face. I didn't have to go live. I didn't have to switch and become the brand. The brand was my products, and now I'm the brand. So it was something different for me. And that's when Angie and I met, and we were like, you know, it was new for me. She was going out for her TV stuff, and now, you know, that stuff was kind of new for her. And then we fell into Groove, right? We just like literally tripped and fell face first into Groove. And now here we are, right? We've done Groovathon, and, you know, Groove has been so great.
Yeah. I love how we tripped face first, because I think everyone's chuckling because that was Groovathon, right? We all tripped forward, face forward, like, all right, let's just do this, right? Yeah.
That's exactly how we were.
Yeah.
And that's how I will be from now on, because the team cares. So if they ever say, I need you to go live in 30 minutes for 7 hours, I would be okay with that.
You're like, I'm ready.
Yeah, it's Groove's done so much for me, so I would do that for them.
But can I say this? The best thing you guys did was put in that commercial.
Yes.
Because between, I would be like, and here's a commercial, guys. We'll be right back. And I would like to the bathroom.
Yeah, you're hauling rear to fill up the drinks and to go to the bathroom and come back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know how we did it before that commercial that was done. So those of you watching, whether you were part of the GrooveAthon or you're just watching my Share the Show, we have the 4 fabulous people that were hosts of GrooveAthon. It was a 14-day live stream. And the first 5 days, if not the full week, we went nonstop. So they would host for 4 hours and they would bring in speakers and interview them or let them run the show and have slides. But if they didn't, and it was a constant conversation, like Joffrey, he had like people back to back. I didn't see him leave. I don't know what he did. For me, the trick was like, oh, put someone on a solo shot, and then they would see my seat empty. So hopefully they knew to keep running, right? Otherwise, we didn't have anything. So if you do go live and you're doing a nonstop, whether all day or 24 hours, or like us crazy people, 14 days, have a 4 to 5 minute max, because that's all StreamYard lets you do. Have like a 4-minute video. For us, it was a promo for Groove to sign up. It was either to become an affiliate or to actually upgrade and get the upgrade to the program. Because a lot of people were just joining for free because you could get a funnel builder for free and people were doing that. So we had 2 and we would alternate them. But do yourself a favor. Record a 4-minute video, even if it's you saying something. We joked around when Mike was on. It was like, oh, you're going to see Mike from the past, and now you're going to see Mike in the present. But do that and do yourself a favor, so that way you can give yourself a break, because you either need a bio break or something to drink, or 4 hours. You might need something to eat. You might start passing out. So that 4 minutes, and it's amazing, by the way, how long 4 minutes is. Like, you get a lot done. I think Simon took a brief nap one time.
And it didn't wake up in time. Yeah. Welcome back to Groove at Night. Where am I? Are we still live?
The best saying, and I want to just go around the room, like what was maybe a favorite moment for me. One of the funniest was when, and I don't know if David Lemon is watching right now. It's like 3 a.m. in Croatia. He was doing the morning, like he would start off Groove after Simon had the night show, and we were dubbing it Groove at Night because that's kind of cool, right? It's like the late show, right? You get all the late night show hosts with David Letterman or Jimmy Fallon, right? Like that was Simon. So it was Groove at Night, and it was groovy, and he had these cool graphics. And I love the graphics, by the way, that you created. I think you did, not the team. So by the way, kudos on that. So then David Lemon in the 6 a.m. hour Eastern Standard Time. So now it's like daybreak, and he goes, welcome to Groove at Day. and like we were talking about it in Skype after. He goes, I'm never going to live that down. He doesn't even remember saying it. Simon, it's kind of like some of the things we were doing. We don't even remember. So again, those of you who think going live is scary, yeah, sure, maybe, but we're all 5 of us are, and there's dozens, I don't know how many there were, but dozens of others who are a testament that none of us died from it. We all live to tell about it. We're all here, and we're all like, do you feel the same way? Like it was almost depressing when it was over, because it was like, oh, there's no more chaos and craziness, and like, what do I do with my time all day?
Right.
So that was one of my favorite moments. If anyone wants to jump in and share one of your favorite moments, or if you were a little sad when it was over and the chaos.
One of my favorite moments was live. We were at Mike's house in the studio with you, Deb, and Joe Jablonski.
Yes, I was going to say the same thing.
Joe Jablonski he's the one that picked me, you know, when he's like, you're my Groove Angel. And then he went to Kathy, you're my Groove Angel. And he's like getting his little like Charlie's Angels clan, right? And it was so funny because we're sitting there. So Kathy and I and Joe are getting ready to go live on GrooveAthon, and we look at Joe because it's Joe's segment, and we said, what are we going to talk about? And he's like, oh. I mean, it was like 3 minutes, and I'm like, what are we going to talk about? Like, what do you want? I mean, it was hilarious. It was hilarious. And so then he went into this little, What did he do, Kathy? He was just like,
He's like,
monotone.
my name is Joe Jablonski. I am here with Angie Norris. It was just so monotone and so scared. He had that scared look on his face. It was hilarious.
It was good though, because it just shows you how like human everyone is. Like we're like everyone that knows me.
We literally said, Joe, don't worry, just open it up and we'll take over.
Well, I guess you got a lot of people like, you're not looking at the camera and things like that. But, you know, like it's all a learning curve. Like I didn't know what you don't know. And we got there. We thought Kathy and I were in Florida visiting friends. We got the smart idea to pass through, say hi. And it just happened to be the week of GrooveSell. And so we.
Serendipity.
Gotta love
it.
Like not even, it's an understatement because it was just like the most, it was better than we could have ever expected. And we thought we would be sitting up in the rafters, like just kind of like watching and, and you guys just pulled us in. Like Mike was like, no, you're sitting right here. And we're
no spectators.
I mean, we were sitting like this for the first like hour. We're looking at each other like, what do we do? What do we say? Like, what if we look stupid? You know, and it was just so natural because you guys just made it so easy. But I don't know how, Deb, like you talk about this, how you sat in the same chair for, I mean, it felt like 24 straight hours. Like you didn't even move.
I almost fell off my chair. So, you know, the famous Mike chair, Mike Gilsame, when Rich was there and they're like, dude, that chair's the same as Mike's. We're like, yeah, he's in the studio. Right. So he pulled that chair, he rolled it into the studio, and I was in that for like the first day or two, and I literally almost fell off it because I tend to sit at the edge of my chair. It just keeps me more alert, and you know, I stand up better instead of slouching. And that chair tends to just topple over. It's like top heavy. So I literally, and it was Mike who was on, and it fell, and I like caught it, and I wasn't going to get hurt. I mean, you know, you're going to fall like people fall, but I was afraid like it was going to make a huge commotion, right? Because freaking Deb falls off her chair in the producer's seat. So yeah, it's like all those little things that people didn't know about behind the scenes, and you just catch them. There are a lot of moments like that, right? A lot of things were happening where people would get in the shot or someone would get in front of the video. You're like, you're in front of the camera. Like we're live.
We were loud. Remember when Kathy, Joe, and I were back in the back, we were loud and you guys were like, be quiet. We're like,
cut it.
But I want to ask you a question because so you were through 14 days on for most of the time. I'm not sure how exhausting it was because for just the 4 hours for me, I was exhausted. It took me a week to recover. But that last 24 hours, how on earth did you guys do that? Because I stayed up as late as I could. My husband was like, go to bed. And I'm like, I can't. I'm watching it. And I
made it till 1. Like 1 o'clock in the morning. That's all I made it to.
How did you guys do it?
Red Bull.
I thought I drank all that when I was
I honestly, that's how I used to do it. So when I would run Blog World events in Vegas, they were like 3-day events and you would go nonstop. Yeah. And I would literally do like in the morning because you would run the day event, and then there was the networking event in the evening, and then there was the after party, and then there was the after party. And then just as you were leaving the after party, whether it was 12 or whatever, then some other influencer would come and you'd kind of have to schmooze and talk to them. And this is the only time you get FaceTime, right? But 3,000 attendees. So I would go to bed, maybe get 3 hours, and then you'd have to get up at 6 a.m. And absolutely Red Bull like kept me going, but it was not good for my health, right? So at the end of that, the last one, they went from 3 days to 5 days, and it was just too much. I literally drove home from Vegas. Like when I say I'll work myself to death, I literally did that week. My friends, Bob the teacher, I don't know if you know him, and his wife were in the back seat. I had an M3 convertible, but the top was up, driving, and I'm so cold because I didn't know I had a fever. And I turned the heat up. I'm like, oh, it's so cold as we're driving. And they're in the back seat. I felt so bad for them because it wasn't until like we pulled into San Diego that I realized how hot it was. But they're like, can we open a window back there? And they're like dogs like trying to get like fresh air in the back seat, right? Like it's a small window of the M3. Like it's like a little triangle in the back. So they're like trying to get some air. I have like coats on. And it's weird because I think adrenaline will keep you going.
Right.
It will keep you going, keep you going. And honestly, there were times that you're not even tired because adrenaline will push you. Unfortunately, after the adrenaline subsides, you crash, and that's when you'll get sick. And in the age of 2020, I'm like, I need to watch my health. So the coffee was super helpful. So that's why you guys are godsends. You are definitely Groove Angels to me. That was super helpful. I maybe did Red Bull twice in that week. But other than that, I didn't drink. So there was no like hangover or tiredness. It's amazing how much energy you can have with like no sugar, no alcohol. I did have coffee. Like Donna was like, and no caffeine either. That'll help your immune system. I'm like, no, that I can't do. Like I need to go. But the other thing I feel, it's what you guys have all been mentioning. It's the fuel of the love and the community. And we're all in this together. Like that's where I mentioned Queen's Gambit. Highly recommend the series on Netflix because it's what we're all doing right now. We're all getting together and realizing this internet marketing thing is real. It's legit. Right. Alicia and I started this, 20 years ago, and we were made fun of and mocked, and family was like, what? You're leaving from Jersey to go to Hawaii to do what? Like no one got it until they got it. And now the whole world is watching. The whole world's on Zoom. The whole world is online selling. And that's what Groove helps us to do. Right. So I think we're also excited. Like I feel like we are part of the first PayPal. You know, if you remember PayPal, or if you watched there was a show where they started the first merchant account system. I think it was Middleman, the name of the movie.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what this is. This is like the beginning of history. And 10 years from now, we're going to go, oh yeah, like it's just Groove. It's the one platform that everyone uses. And we were there in the beginning as part of it, predicting it. So I think just that energy of how excited I am for the culture, the community, the people, the company, like it's fantastic. And then meeting the two of you, like it's fuel for me. And I am an extrovert, but it's fuel when I meet people like you and you and I, when I say you and I, I'm looking at both of you and Kathy and Angie, that we're meeting these positive people that are not about tearing each other down, not about the drama, not about the gossip, right? And I think as women, right, so it's women of Groove. I'm going to add Alicia and then Simon because he's part of our girls group. I feel like there's been historically that drama, right? That women will tear each other down, or they think, well, if someone's on top, well, then that's not good. So I feel like this is the time where we're all bonding together and really rising to the top together and helping one another. And it doesn't like we were all supporting Alicia to be number one. Yeah. And like I think I told you that it's like Angie and Kathy probably heard it. I made no non-biased opinions of whoever was on the leaderboard. I love you all, but I was like rooting for my girl Alicia, my coach for 20 years ago. She was my coach, and here she is rising up to the leaderboard. And I kept going, Mike, she's going to be number one. She's going to get there, right? And I think like you and Angie were like 5 or 7, and then Gloria came in, and I was like. Yeah. Again, you pay attention to that, and you guys are helping one another. It's not a competition. It's everyone is going to win, and the world is going to win that gets to use this software. So that's where I get super excited. That's me. Enough blathering. Alicia, what about you?
The best is yet to come. Really, the best is yet to come. And one of the most exciting parts that I love to tell people is that Groove has just started.
Yeah.
Like Groove has just started. Look where we are, as Groove has just started. Listen to Angie's story. Angie has not even done paid traffic yet. She's just organically posting on Facebook. Everybody's like, what? So imagine when we all, really start to put this thing in high gear, take it to the next level, really, really start to do some marketing and pushing it, the sky is the limit. And then I really appreciate, Deb, how you're bringing us ladies together. And you left Simon off for just a minute, but he's still there. Just a minute, Simon. But I think that's so important because in our industry and even the extensions of our industry, there is such a lack of women at the top or teaching other women or actually just even in the spotlight. How many events have we gone to and it's an all male event or all male and then that one woman or, I've been that one woman. So have you at so many events. So now, yes, let's encourage other women that this is such an amazing thing that they can do. And that there's other women that are doing it. Watch, Groove is just going to as opposed to some of the other companies out there that lead a lot with men, Groove is going to be leading with women. And that's a really exciting place to be in and a really exciting time. When you were talking about how with a software company, women haven't been on the top of the leaderboards before.
Yep.
I was trying to think about that. And I was trying to think about any software company launch that I've heard of in recent times that women, there's been so many women in the top 20, and I don't know. Nope. So I think that, it's an amazing time, and it's just the beginning.
Can we reiterate that you don't have to be a techie to make it here? Because I am like the least technical person out there. I mean, I'm asking my kids how to do things, right? Like,
that's good.
Do stuff, right? Because that's the way I am. Or I have to call my husband from his work and be like, what do I do? But now I found a business partner that is techie. So that's how I've managed to, soar. And I'm going to continue to soar, is finding the people that fill in the spots and the gaps that I am not good in, right? So you do not have to be tech savvy. I mean, I'm not dumb to it. I can learn it, whatever, but why would I go through all that heartache, right? Whenever I can find somebody that knows it and can, teach it well and be able to put it out there for everybody. And then I use my other strengths for whatever I do, right? So you don't have to be techie in order to make it inside of Groove.
Yep. I love that. And I love also that you asked your kids. And that's where I think of Gloria, right? She was, I think, battling with you, Alicia, in the number 3 position on that last day, or the day before the last 24 hours. And, she's 65 and she's like, I'm 65 and I have only been in this business for the past 3 years. So everyone, no matter who you are watching this, whether you're in internet marketing or you're in a physical brick and mortar business and you're using an online funnel builder, whatever it is, to promote your services or promote your storefront, it doesn't matter how old you are, how late in the game you feel you are, because this is still just the beginning. And Gloria was like, hey, like I'm 65. Like she didn't wake up and grow up with an iPhone, right? This is something that only in the last generation, we now have a generation that they're pretty much born with an iPhone, right? Like they come out and they're like, I've got the iPhone. They know how to interact with it. So utilizing it, and ask teens, right? Ask your kids. They're a source of the culture of it, the feel of it, how things are swiped and how things go. Like, especially for TikTok, a lot of people are doing that. Like, talk to the teens. They have a pulse on it like no one else does. So I'm glad you brought that up, Kathy, because I think that's a smart thing. I don't think that
my kids are older. I have a 20-year-old. Well, she's almost 21 in about 12 days, and a 22-year-old. But but the thing with them though is whenever I'm like, hey, how do I do this with the computer? How do I edit a video? How do I, do any of this stuff? They're going to know the answers for it. And my she's almost 21. She didn't even use a landline. So whenever I worked in corporate and she came to my office, she's like, oh my God, can I use that phone? Because she's never used a landline phone.
It's new technology.
So she's like, can I use my phone? And I'm like, she didn't understand that you had to, when you picked it up, it automatically answered. And whenever you had to, she didn't understand all that. So it just goes to show the difference just in that small time gap. So I mean, why wouldn't you utilize people that are utilizing those social media platforms, and they edit videos for TikTok and all that stuff for fun. We're trying to do it for business. So why wouldn't you utilize those kids that already know how to do it? Just say, hey, here, I recorded this, fix it up for me. Yeah.
And we're adding Simon back to the stream.
Oh wow. Hey.
He's your neighbor.
Happy to be one of the girls again. But absolutely, I agree and I concur with everything that has been said. I mean, for me and you, Deb, I mean, we go way back, and even back when you say when we were promoting your Blog 360 and Quanslite, right? It wasn't a webinar. It wasn't a live event. It was
Right.
teleseminar, right? We used phones, back in the day. And that's how old school we were, right?
Yeah.
And then when we met Alicia, I think it was in Napa Valley, if I'm not mistaken. And we were talking about speaking, right? You were going to Singapore and Malaysia. And so, and we were holding events there. And, it brings back all these different memories of where we got started. Right.
Yeah.
And David Kavanaugh made a really good point earlier. He said, we have the advantage because we're old school. We are professional speakers and we've been doing it for years and years and years. I mean, more than that, it's been like a decade and a half. Right. And so when you really think about every different kind of entrepreneur, whether you want to be an internet marketer, a coach, a mentor, a speaker, a trainer, a lot of times we make plans. But one of the things that I've been talking about in my live stream is that we should actually plan to have our plans get messed up. We should expect the unexpected, because who would have known at this time last year? I mean, for me, I personally plan to expand to many more countries, right? I expected to do a lot more seminars, to do a lot more courses, and many of the businesses that you girls, have been doing, right? Have been planning. Yeah, I can't say guys anymore. It was also significantly different, right? So welcome to 2020. And this year happened. Everything happened. I don't know how many of you are aware now, but today is the first day that we have our second lockdown. So this means that this is not just a US thing, obviously. It's something that is affecting a lot of people worldwide. And the good news about 2020 for all of us who are watching right now, for all of us who are in a circle, is that we have Groove. It's because of Groove that I'm sure you would both agree, right? And you will all agree, you and I would agree that it has been life-changing, for us. Not necessarily for all of us who may need it, but even for those who don't need it, right? Because of Groove, it allows us to have the opportunity to help more people. Alicia, you were talking about how we are professionals, right? And so we like to sell. Who doesn't like to sell, especially when it can increase your business, especially when it can help other people, right? But before Groove existed, there really was no way for us to help people for free, right? Now we can. So for me personally, I've converted temporarily because it's not the best business decision, but a lot of the things that previously I had been selling, for example, consultation, for example, courses, for example, mentorship or whatever else, a lot of these with the integration of Groove, we've been able to offer for free, because still in the back end, there is still the hope of planning to have them and convince them of the value of Groove for them to upgrade, so that we can still have that affiliate commission, right? But before that, there wasn't an option. And so everything that we're doing, whether it's trying to explore our own new skills or trying to do something new and trying to figure out where we can go from here on, adapting to the new normal, I would probably say, even on a personal standpoint, let's not talk about the business models. Let's not talk about the consultations and the mentorship and the courses or whatever else. For me, the whole Grooveathon thing gave me the opportunity to learn a new skill, which is to do live, right? I haven't done a live. I did live seminars. I've been doing that for a long time. I do YouTube videos. I do other kinds of things, maybe webinars, maybe sales events, online or offline. But when it comes to having a camera stuck to my face, I am very unlike you, Deb. I'm not extroverted. I am super, super introverted, to the point where I don't need to talk for days if I don't need to. So the idea of just speaking in a room with four walls, with just the camera sticking to my face, that kind of makes me nervous, right? It's outside of my comfort zone. Even when I do YouTube videos, sometimes I want to record the same line multiple times, because that's just my personality, right? A little bit of perfectionist, a little bit, wanting to make sure that it's perfect. But I knew that I can do some editing later on. Because we can't do editing in lives, right? I've never wanted to do it. But the whole Grooveathon thing pushed me into it. David Lemon pushed me into it. That 5 minutes that turned out to be 5 minutes, right? That experience pushed me into saying, okay, now I have to do this, because all eyes are on me. There is no editing. I can't say the same thing over and over, because it's live.
Yeah.
right? People are watching you right now. You can't say, oh, wait, cut, take two, right? I want to do that again. Can I do that again? Nobody's going to respond, right? They might say, no, you can't do it again. Maybe they'll say yes, but it would be very awkward either way, right?
Yeah.
And so as a result, after those 14 days, you and I, we also had that withdrawal, right? We also, the next day, we wanted to go back live. Obviously, that became, a no. The idea got rejected. But as a
we were
result,
all like, yeah, we'll go. They're like, no,
let's do it, right? And so, I've also been in touch with a lot of people who are on the Grooveathon, and they said, when are you going to go back live again, right? When are you going to do another Groove at Night? When are you going to get the entire band back together so that we can stay up all day and all night, group at day and Groove at Night, because you guys were just so spectacular, to the point where now I started doing my own lives, and that 14 days in a row was good practice for me, because previously I did like 10 days in a row for me, but it wasn't 8 hours. It wasn't 12 hours. It's just like 1 or 2 hours each, but still it was a brand new skill. It pushed me outside of my own comfort zone. So regardless of where you are, you want to be a marketer, you want to be a trainer, you want to be a speaker, right? There's always something new for us to learn. There's always something you didn't do before, weren't comfortable with, and did not have the skill. And it's all because of Groove going full circle, which pushed in one way, shape, or form or another, able to improve, able to expand our own skills. And I believe this is something that we can expand on into our community and what Groove is really all about. So very grateful for the opportunity that Groove has provided for us, and I feel like way above and beyond, just like Alicia said, the best is yet to come.
Round of applause for Simon. This is why he had 8 hours. Go Groove at Night. You were the Groove at Night host, right? So Simon, what's fascinating to me is like I just learned that recently on one of your lives. You're like, this is the first time I'm actually going live on my own. I was like, what? I would never have guessed and had no click, because you were the pioneer, right? You worked at Google. You were the Google ads guy. Like you created the department at Google. Like to me, in my mind, you're always the pioneer. You're always doing something in the beginning before. So like live's been around. I'm like, I wouldn't even have thought like you would have been uncomfortable with it. And of course he didn't admit it. He's like, yeah, sure. I'll do 4 to 8 hours every night, live, no problem. Right. And that's the character and personality of all 5 of us, right? We're like, we'll learn it. We'll figure it out. And I think that's a huge success quality. I'm going to do, I'm at a mastermind this weekend in San Diego. And one of the videos I'm going to ask them, they're all at the top of their game, is what is the success quality that you believe? And I think that's what we wrap up today's live here is, what do you believe is success quality that's made you great, gotten you to the point where you're at the top? Because each one of you are at the top of your game, whatever that is. And the other thing too is it's one of those things that as a coach I heard earlier, and I didn't say something because we were in a flow, but each one of you, when you go, I guess we're a Groove influencer. Yes, there's no more guessing, right? Get that word out of your vocabulary. And then again, women and Simon. So it's we as women have that tendency to, first of all, we try to make ourselves equal to one another. And if we see someone that has not achieved something, we will go to their level. Men don't. Men see themselves as either on top or not, right? If someone else is like, they don't like it, and that's why they keep achieving, because they keep trying to beat one another. And yet they don't take it personally, right? They go, oh, my feelings are hurt, right? They're just driven to be at the top. Women will tend to bring the community together and have like this equal, and we'll dismiss our greatness. So I just want to challenge those of you watching and those of you here on the call, Angie, Kathy, Alicia, and Simon, is that when you know you have a strength, own it and say it with confidence. So that's my challenge to you. You may pick it up if you choose to accept. But I feel, and I think Alicia is going to agree with me in that we will tend to play our strengths down or not brag, right? That's the word. And if you're raised like Alicia and I think we were raised to be humble, right? You're not supposed to brag about your achievements. And that doesn't work in the business world. And it doesn't work for anybody else looking up to you as their inspiration. They need to know what you've done, right? That you've been on TV, Angie. I didn't know that. Like you had this whole background. I just knew when I went to your channel, I was like, she shines, she's great. She'll do this phenomenally. And you were teaching, right? So I'm like, yeah, Joffrey, right? Fullerton. I went to his stream, like he sent me a video and it was through StreamYard. So I knew he knew how to use StreamYard, the platform, and he just shone. He knew it. He owned it, right? So when you shine and you know it, and you know you can own a certain area, like just own that and step up into your greatness, step up into your strengths, play them, and then share it with one another. And this is the group right here, give you permission to brag about all of your accomplishments on Skype, in our little Skype group for this. Go ahead and brag. Every accomplishment, I want to hear about it. Put it on my Facebook, put it on a comment, put it in the Skype group so we can all celebrate with one another. And I make that same exact challenge to each of you watching. And thanks for joining this live stream as we're sharing some of it. Some of it is a little bit of a reunion and behind the scenes sharing of debrief. So hopefully you're enjoying this little behind the scenes interaction, but I challenge you to do the same thing. Don't dismiss your greatness. Don't dismiss your strengths. Don't dismiss your achievements, right? Start sharing them with others. Like there's the name of this channel is called #ShareThis, right? That's the name of the next book. It's sharing your accomplishments. And I actually never thought of that until this moment. We share a lot of other people's great stories and other people's inspiration, but I want you to share your greatness and the things that, because Angie, your story inspires me, inspires everyone watching. Kathy, your story inspires me. And everyone watching and going, wow, she just started into this, right? You're now a brand. They're watching that, right? Simon, I don't even think you realize how much you've inspired me since the beginning. That's why I shoved the little flip cam in your face. I was like, oh, you got to share. Like, it's fantastic. And never in my mind would I have thought you were shy or not an extrovert or whatever.
Me neither.
Yeah. And then Alicia, I think
started that when I started Groove. Simon, your voice is what I went to learn. I mean, for real. Wow. I wouldn't even have guessed it in a million years because all I knew was I would watch your videos, pause them, do the stuff, watch, pause. That's exactly how I learned Groove is through Simon. And then of course, David popped in on the scene as well. So I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
You were encouraged.
And Alicia, as we go around the room, like let's kind of do our final share, what's a quality, but I feel like I've got to give you props and maybe it's because I hired you as a coach, so you're still in that role in my mind, but in Vegas and us just talking about variety of things this year, such energy, right? It's like, and I came back vibing, right? I came back to California. I'm like, this is going to be the best year, right? And just you ooze it as much as your money earrings. And I don't know that we saw, you got to show us your money. She literally has money earrings. I'm going to give her a spoiler shot here. Money.
Yes.
Dollar bills. Yeah.
We have to have fun. You have to have fun.
Yes. So, and now I see dangling money earrings and I think Alicia. I think money, I think Alicia. So what's a quality that you believe either A, you have, or that's required, or that's helped you be successful in your life in the internet marketing world?
Yeah, I would say never give up. Look at us. Like, as we're talking, me, you, and Simon, and we go way back, we could have given up so many times. Deb, I know through some of the things that you've been through, you were on the bridge of giving up every once in a while. So was Simon. Yep. But the thing is that you can never give up. So looking towards someone who's been there, done that, been in the industry, overcome so many obstacles. Angie was talking about that. And just know that, there are people who've been there and you just don't give up. Keep pushing forward. Don't give up. Don't give up. Never quit. Don't give up.
And then you too could have a Mustang Mach something.
Look, Angie's gone. She must have
she's like, shot. I get to go take a bio break.
That must be the 4-minute Mike video.
That's right. That's right. Feed Mike video.
That's so funny.
Simon or Kathy, who wants to go next?
Kathy.
Okay. Well, I'm not new to the online world. So I've been in the e-com business for over 10 years. I've made multiple 6 figures. So I know, it wasn't like right out of the gate either, right? It was just like, I started it and then I stopped it. And then I'm like, got so angry with it, and then picked it back up, because I was determined to figure it out. all while going to school to get my business degree and working in the corporate world. I did all of this while building my business. And then whenever it could finally, replace my income, I quit my accounting job. Right. So, it was just, trial and tribulation and falling on my face, and the determination to keep going is what got me there. And I think that's what a lot of people have to do whenever it comes to being your own boss and figuring things out. You don't have anybody else to tell you what to do. You don't have someone to say, this is the method, this is the system, this is what you need to do. You have to figure it out yourself. So if you just persevere and, allow that those face fallings and face plants and, the failures to teach you something, so that way you can get back up and go again. That, I think, is what is a driving point for anybody. And I think also having the support system, I have a great support system with my husband, because we have both been entrepreneurs, and we've done things, we were in our 20s when we started our first brick and mortar. And within 18 months, we went over $1 million in gross sales with this brick and mortar. And we had 2 small children doing this. We had no idea what we were doing. We were just making these systems. We were, going with our gut. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But it's learning. It's that process of learning and implementing, right? So always be learning, always be implementing. And don't be afraid of the failures, because the failures are what teaches you so you can move to the next level.
Round of applause for Kathy. I need my applause button, Simon.
I know, right?
And we're adding Angie back. We realized we needed a mic.
Welcome back to Groove at Night.
Small bladder. Sorry.
It's funny, as we're wrapping up in 2 hours, and no, we're not going to go another 24 hours. We're going to be done in 7 minutes. But isn't it funny when you go 4 hours or a 24 hours, like 2 hours is nothing now, right?
Nothing.
So that's the lesson for everyone watching. If you haven't gone live, just go live for a really long time. And then anything after that will be super easy.
Yeah.
By the way, too, is if you ever don't want to answer a question, just deflect or volunteer someone else like Simon did. Kathy.
Angie, you are next.
I was about to go to Simon, but he just pulled a Simon. So go ahead, Angie.
All right. No, you were talking, Deb, about sharing your successes. And I can tell you 100% that is what has pulled me into this world. Like, it's pulled me in because I watched people lay the groundwork, who have paved the way, who have ran through hurdles to get to where they are. And that just inspires me. So when they share their wins, it brings me to that like hope level. Like, I have hope, right? I have hope. And so what my tactic was, and it wasn't even trying to be a tactic, it just happened, right? I took people on a journey. From day one. So early June, when I made my first sale, I shared that win. I was excited. I made one sale. That, to me, one sale was everything. And then when I made more sales and more sales, I was letting people in on my journey. And that is what I think attracted people to, hey, there's this girl. She's worked corporate 20 years. Now she's trying to make it on her own. She came across this new thing and she's doing good things, and so I think that taking people out on a journey. But here's the thing. So I'm going to be 43 on Monday, and I can tell you that I have spent 40 years trying to fit in to circles of friends, trying to fit in to people who don't understand entrepreneurship. People don't understand why we're striving so hard non-corporate, right? And I have not gotten very far in my pursuit of my passion-driven business. It was when I turned 40 that I realized, why am I trying so hard to fit in when I should just be standing out? And so I started standing out. And that was when I started accepting like people are just going to have to know me for me. Like I'm a nerd, I'm a software junkie, I am goofy, I may not know what I'm doing on live because I get nervous still. Like I know what Simon was talking about because like I've been sweating this whole time because I'm nervous on camera. I've never really, I like to be behind the scenes, but I'm pushing myself out there. I'm getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. It's pushing me into these uncomfortable situations, but I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm getting more comfortable with it. And I have a long way to go. Like I've been doing this for what, a year now, and I still get nervous, like even tonight. So it just shows you like, doesn't matter where you're at, own who you are, be authentic, and stop trying to fit in. Just stand out, take people on a journey of what you're trying to achieve. Take imperfect action. That's been my huge number. 2020 has been taking imperfect action because I'm a perfectionist, waiting for perfection. I have so many unfinished things in before this year. This year, because I have taken action, even though it wasn't perfectly, I have made way more. I have made more strides. I have laid more foundation for the future because I just took action. So I just want to leave you guys with, hey, I just started less than or a little over a year ago. If I can just follow my dreams through hard work, and I say this quote all the time, but it is, don't be upset by the work don't be upset by the results you didn't get by the work you didn't do. And that's carried me. Like I will put the hard work in to get where I want to be because I know like nothing is get rich quick. Like nothing is get rich quick. Don't look at GrooveFunnels as, hey, if I sign up for this software, I'm going to make all this money. It just doesn't work that way. There's a lot of things that go into it. Look at who you are, what your skill set is, what your superpower is, how you can help solve problems using the software. That's what I've done. I don't sell. I share the opportunity by solving problems. And if it can work for me, use it. Hope it helps you. Look at Kathy, what she's doing, use it. Hope it can help you. Look at Alicia. What is she doing? Maybe you can mimic what she's doing. Doesn't matter. Pick anybody that's in the top 50, top 100 people and just go with what you can actually leverage and apply, right? But anyway, I just want to say, Groove, if you're getting in now, you're like early. Like if you get in next year, you're early. But if you're getting in now, you are so early to this game and you are going to win. I'm just so excited for all the opportunities. Can't wait. Thank you for having me on, Deb.
Thank you. Thanks for showing up and saying yes. And this is a book that I don't know if you have it, but highly recommend anybody watching. Step into the Spotlight. Sufitz, it's very hard to say whatever her name is, but phenomenal author. I got this and I was like, I always write my name, my phone number, so people, if I lose the book, but I also always write the date. And this was in 2008. And still, like to this day, it's a reference book. And then what I started doing is putting like the different TV gigs and then the goals. And now I feel like I have to go in and go 14-day Grooveathon producer and then put 6.8 million in sales, right? But every one of you, if you are thinking of going live, those of you on as hosts right now, if you were one of our hosts for Grooveathon, highly recommend this book because it just helps you realize like stepping into the spotlight is a skill set. It's an art form. And there's a reason for it. There's a purpose for it. So the things that you mentioned, Angie, I was like, I hope I have that book on the shelf. And it's actually on my girl shelf. So it's right next to like, Don't Think Pink, Girl Boss, Just Ask a Woman. What else? Who's Got Your Back? Donica Patrick book, Engage, Lean In, like basically anything that's either been an inspirational female author or someone teaching women to just step into the spotlight and own your light, own your greatness. And I think you do that, and you've been on TV, Angie, so we're going to have you back on the show. Every one of you, by the way, are coming back on the show, and Simon knows, like, I'm just going to put the camera in your face, and you're going to be live.
Again.
I definitely want to talk a little more about that on the next time you show up, Angie. And thank you both, Kathy and Angie, for saying yes. When I twisted your arm in Florida, just like I twisted Simon's arm, maybe like, go do video. And by the way, David Kavanaugh was saying something like, remember flip cams? That was the camera that Simon's first video was on. It was a flip camera. So it's kind of like the iPhone where it's just like, here you go, right? But if you want I guess that's my tip. And then we're going to leave Simon as the last word. Typical, right? Man always has the last word.
Save that for last.
For being one of the girls. But if you want something done, first of all, my philosophy in life has always been it just like do it, right? And instead of looking at why things can't be done, my mindset has always been, but what if it can? But what if it can? I just watched the Grinder episode. It was like on for one season. It was Rob Lowe and Fred Savage, and it's a bit of a cheesy show. But the second episode, if you watch only one episode, it's my personality to a T. Where Rob Lowe just every time someone shuts it down and that can't be done, he's like, but what if it could?
But what if?
What if it could? That's been my guiding principle, right? So when Donna Fox was like, hey, you want to produce this Grooveathon? It's 14 days. Can you get speakers? Can you fill the gaps? Can you fill 336 spots? I'm like, sure. Why not? What could go wrong, right? Just answer the call, say yes, and just ask yourself, but what if it could? Especially if you have that personality to think. What's that, Kathy?
I said it's the year of the yeses. That's what I've done this year.
Yeah.
The yeses, and I've not said no to anything this year. And it's been amazing. Yeah.
Yes. That's why you have to ask, right? If you want something, just ask people. There's so many people willing to say yes.
Yeah.
And I found that was the biggest lesson in this. There were so many people that were willing to say yes. Last minute, whether it was 3 days before, right? With Alicia, Angie, Kathy, like, hey, you're in Florida. Hey, next week you want to go live? Or whether it was literally last minute, like Gloria, who came on in 20 minutes because, a speaker couldn't show up. So it's just saying yes. And Kathy, you're definitely the epitome of that. So Simon says, what is your final tip, Simon? Being with all of us girls.
Right. I mean, here's the thing, right? I mean, I'm listening to all of you fine ladies sharing your final tips, and I'm getting inspired, and I'm also learning, and I'm also trying to absorb just like anybody else who's watching this, right? And it's really funny because I'm looking at some of the comments as well, and for whatever reason, Jessica quoted Alicia for the "don't give up," right? Don't give up. Was it "don't give up" or "never give up"? It just, for whatever reason, it reminds me of Tom Hua. Remember Tom Hua? Every time he's just like, never give up, never give up, never give up. Like that whole spiel that he does on stage. And and that first time that I saw that, it was also very inspirational, right? And a lot of times it basically has to go back to your roots, remembering where you came from. And just like what Angie mentioned, right? She spent 40 years trying to fit in. And so I see a lot of similarities in me as well, because ever since, as far as I can remember, I moved to the US from Hong Kong, was an immigrant, didn't speak English, was bullied. And obviously I did not fit in for a very long time until I got inspired by my teachers who actually told my bullies that they shouldn't be bullying me, because if I speak in an accent, if I don't speak English well, it meant that I spoke a different language. Mm-hmm. And to them, that would have been an advantage, right? But it did back them off. But if I had listened to that teacher and just said, yeah, that's the reason why I talk like this, right? Then I would have never improved. Then I would have never gotten better, right? And to the point where I felt like that was a really good learning point in my life that continued to push me throughout the rest of my days. Because I also, ever since leaving the US, I lived in the US for about 25 years, but I also moved to Hong Kong. I moved to China, I moved to Indonesia, I moved to Singapore, and now I'm in Malaysia. And everywhere that I went, I also continued and struggled to fit in as well. A lot of people around here, they would look at me after I start talking, and they'll say things like, hey, you look like Mia, but why you talk like round eye? Why you talk like white people one, right? As if it's insulting, as if it's something that, I'm not a good fit. I don't fit in with them because I talk differently, right? Or because wherever I am, that just so happens to be where. So I mean, the culture around here is a lot different because it's not as multicultural. And so what I learned along the way is, yes, being in business, right? Being entrepreneurs, being internet marketers, speakers, or whatnot. A lot of times we've been told that, yeah, as you mentioned earlier, Deb, right? you are given permission to brag, to tell people all the good things about you, why people should listen to you, why you have the authority, right? But what I learned over time is that actually when I have humbled myself, when I decided that I would be more humble in different types of environments, which meant that even though I'm confident, of course, in my skill of internet marketing, I'm so confident, in fact, that I can say either you can never ask me a question about internet marketing that I wouldn't know the answer to, or I wouldn't be able to find the answer to, right? I would be able to find it for you, but still, I continue to learn every single day. I still continue to read books. I still continue to get inspired by people just like all of us who are on the stream right now, as well as anyone whom we would consider mentor figures as well. So we continue to learn. And I would also say, if at all possible, right, I don't tell people about myself. What I've actually done is, if you've been around for as long as we have, I actually say, if you want to learn more about me, I don't go on stage and say, okay, for 30 minutes, I'm going to talk to you about myself. Instead, you can watch this 5-minute video that has been compiled, which features some of the top experts in the world telling you about me, because I want to differentiate myself from everybody else. So differentiation, distinguishing yourself from the crowd, from the masses, especially in the world today, where you and I also know there are so many fake gurus out there. There are people who are not qualified to be teaching what they're teaching. There are anybody who can say anything that they want about themselves. But very rarely do you get the opportunity to get people like Mark Victor Hansen or Robert G. Allen, and whom I featured in the video, people like Joel Kahn, people like Mike Thosane, people like Donna Fox as well, also featured in those videos, and basically have them tell your story. Have other people tell the audience or whoever your viewers are about you, right? Humble yourself so that you're not actually trying to brag and break your own arm, trying to pat yourself on the back, saying how good you are, how I'm a motivational speaker, award-winning entrepreneur, best-selling author. Okay, great authority, credibility, of course, right? But it doesn't make you different than some guy or some girl who is lying about it, right? And so what I've learned with all of this is that the main takeaway is never let your ego get in the way. Don't put yourself in a position where your ego is so big that you say, I don't want to believe anything else. I have my own opinion. I have my own perception on what is the truth. I don't care what credibility you have. I don't care if you're an expert. I don't care if you're a consultant. I don't care if you're a doctor. I don't care if you're a scientist, blah, blah, blah. I have my own perspective, right? And that usually is a recipe for disaster. I mentioned how we're just on the first day of yet another lockdown, but it's not like we have 100,000 new cases a day. We actually have about 20 or 30 a day new cases, but it became so much that at 1 or 2 days, we had over 100, and that was enough to activate what we call this lockdown, right? And that was because in hindsight, your ego, what you think you believe in doesn't matter. Your well-being, your safety, your health, how you can improve yourself and how you can improve people around you, right? That is what is the most important. And that's why the Groove community was created. It's not just for me to be able to use all these tools, not just for me to be able to find out how I can monetize from it, but just like you, Deb, just like Alicia, just like Angie, just like Kathy, and everyone else who have been hosts, co-hosts, and VIPs, right? We use Groove as an opportunity to help others, even if we're not connected financially. So I believe that this is the great place to be, where people are just genuinely helping each other out. So take advantage of it. Take advantage of the fact that you're here at the right place and at the right time. As Alicia says, the best is yet to come. I honestly believe that. And when all of us do it together, nothing is going to stop us from achieving this in the fastest amount of time possible. So all of us, congratulations to all you fine ladies who are on the screen right now. Give them a virtual round of applause. It's because of them and their invitation to me that I am here. And of course, I believe that there's going to be so many cool things that are to be happening very, very soon. And I cannot wait for what the future brings for all of us.
I love it. Jazz hands to Fennell, the little screenshot. Two things, Simon, with that. One, and maybe each of you feel the same way, you might have done it. I feel like you're about to say, and this GrooveAthon, right? Were you about to say that?
GrooveAthon.
But we got so used to saying it, like, welcome back to GrooveAthon. And then the other thing too, and a couple people have mentioned this, where your ego and self-effacing humor, right? You do something with your pictures that actually inspired me, and I'll often do it. Alicia and I did that when we were in Vegas, when we were with Mike Vilsain. Like, you do something that's this, again, dropping your ego and revering the person that you're with, and you'll point to that person that you're with. It's like, look at who I'm with, right? And I'm like, that is such a better thing than like the people who are like, peace, or I'm number one, or whatever. It's like, yeah, it's like, I'm honored to be with this person. And you, in and of itself, like, you were a guru, you were a speaker, and you would take pictures and you would point to the other person. So I really like that, and that has inspired me. Yes, we'll all point to Simon. Simon says, that's the picture. That's the screenshot, right? There we go. I have to go opposite. So yeah, you practice what you preach. And hey, talk about not fitting in, Simon. You're in with the group, ladies of Groove, and Simon.
Yeah, always a part of the girls group. The story of my life.
And every guy envies you. Alicia?
Yeah, just before we go, Deb, yes, the best is yet to come. Tell us what's coming from Coach Deb.
Oh, look at the coach step. Oh, look at her, like, challenging me. So people kept asking. You're so funny. I love you. I swear. It's funny too, because it wasn't until Simon was talking about, like, oh, we all love to sell. I'm like, oh, actually, I don't. And then I realized, oh, I should have the ticker like I did at GrooveAthon, right? GrooveSell.VIP. So if you don't have your website builder, grab it. But one of the things that we're putting together is teaching people how to walk through a live stream, whether it's a marathon session, whether it's again, $1 million day like we would do in the studio, but helping people do it from their homes. So it'll be a complete course. Putting this together with Alicia right now. We've been busy, but it's been back and forth trying to catch each other because we're both busy women. But yeah, we're going to put that together for you. So if you've been wanting to go live, whether it's live, like, again, I didn't even know, Simon, this is like one of your first times going live. Never would have known a GrooveAthon 14 days straight was like, yeah, I'll go live. So it'll be everything, learning how to go live, whether it's live stream or YouTube or Facebook or Zoom, how to master that, go to webinar. We're doing the Groove Digital Presents, those of you who are Groovesters, every Friday, and I'm hosting that now. And I realized that even our speakers coming on haven't used GoToWebinar in a while. So kind of had to do like a walkthrough tutorial with them. Probably be like a 30-minute on GoToWebinar, even though it's one of the oldest platforms. I think it also has gotten neglected. So yeah, so if that's something that you're watching this either in the future or you're here now, go ahead and drop a comment if you're interested. When we come out with that, we'll probably have a free webinar to walk people through some of the basics, and then we'll have a more advanced coaching group, because again, like my coach has taught me way over here. And actually, I can go like this. Here, Kathy, get ready to move that finger. Ready, pointing right there. There, we can point to her. Right. There he goes. My coach taught me. And this is actually such a powerful thing you taught me, Alicia, so long ago. And it's been something I've done from that point till now. Anytime I've ever created a course, people are like, how do you do a course? Well, you go live. You get a group of 12 people together that want to be coached through that point or principle or learning, whatever it is. You coach them one-on-one or in that group of 12, but then each person gets to ask their question, ask their what's their problem, share their challenge, and you can solve it real time. And chances are those 12 people are reflecting of 24 people, of 1,200 people, and so on and so forth. So that's how I've always developed my courses. And it's because, ready, Kathy? This girl taught me how to do it. So thank you, Alicia.
Oh,
and
so
thanks
for your next course. Yay!
She was in Vegas. She's like, you're doing the course. We're locking you down at a date. We're going to bring you to my people first on her list. So thanks for twisting my arm, Alicia, and making me do stuff, even though I'm not busy at all.
Well, after you produced 14 days of live, you have so much to share with so many people. And you've been doing this, like I've been watching you, go live on your page and all the amazing people that you've brought on. You have so much to share with so many people who are, the times that we're in right now, like Simon says, we're on lockdown, he's on lockdown again. And this right here is the tool that we use to reach people now. This is it, right?
Yep. Yeah.
We were on stage all the time, right, Simon? Like speaking all over the place. Now, how are we speaking on the webcam? So Deb's going to teach people how to rock it live and really build their business that way. And I'm excited.
Yeah.
And then watch this, Alicia, and Angie and Kathy and Simon will all be part of it. I'm sure. They'll join.
Yeah. They all agree.
Yeah.
Right?
There's that flip cam again. Oh.
They all just agree.
Right, Simon?
DSD, and now the D stands for Deb.
Yeah.
He's funny.
I want some insider information. So you and Mike Phil-Same are going to San Diego for a mastermind. Can you enlighten us?
So it's a flight club. I joined it years and years ago. Glenn Ledwell from Mind Movies. I don't know if you guys are all familiar with him. And it's funny too, because Mind Movies, that was another thing that way back when YouTube first started, there was Ask a Ninja show. And then there was Mind Movies with this guy, Ryan from Down Under, and he would inspire you with again, I'm not good with the Aussie accent. I'll spare you.
Keep going.
Here was this guy who would, come with this great accent and he would inspire you. And I remember my partner at the time was like, I don't get it. He's not selling anything. I don't get it. What is he doing? He's not selling. He's not making. And same thing, Ask a Ninja. It was just pure entertainment, right? It was just, he was funny. I don't know if you remember him, but those were like two of my favorite YouTube channels at the time. And so it's interesting because then I became an affiliate once they did. It was like maybe 2 years. I don't know if Alicia, you remember, but like easily at least 1 year, if not two, they gave inspired until they came up with like a $27 Mind Movies video, and I was an affiliate. So I promoted it. To my list, and I, like Alicia, hit the board and got invited to one of their affiliates parties here in San Diego. So that's the first time I actually met Glenn, who was his partner, and Natalie. So the three of them were running Mind Movies. I got connected with them. I don't even think he lived in San Diego. I think I was living in Hawaii at the time. I don't remember. But I ran into Paul Hoffman in Vegas. So again, talk about reunions and all these, how everything's coming connected. And here's what's interesting too. Alicia, you were in the room when it happened, to quote a Hamilton song. Paul Hoffman, he sits there and I'm like, this is what being part of a mastermind is all about. He sits there and he's like, and again, this is just an after hour parties. Like there's pizza and people are just like eating after the birthday party for Mike and going back to the rooms. And then, so it's just a social event. And I tried to explain this to my friends and family that it's a lot of partying with a lot of work in between. Like it's just mixed. So Paul Hoffman sits down and he reminds me of when we met at this affiliate party for Mind Movies. So again, when you're an affiliate, that's the other thing. You wind up getting invited to these groups of other top affiliates. So there are other promoters, producers that can make stuff happen, that can sell your product and vice versa. So again, you're moving and shaking with the people who are also moving and shaking and those first action takers. And Paul Hoffman reminds me of when we met at this affiliate party. It was on the water in San Diego. I'm like, my goodness, Paul Hoffman, great memory. And then he shared how old he was. And I won't say it publicly because I don't know if he says it publicly, but I thought, wow, he's been in this business for a long time. He did the jingle. What is it? Have you been in a Ford lately? Something like that.
Yeah.
That was his jingle. That's what he's known for. And that tells you a little bit of how far back he goes. So we're going to try to get him to do a jingle for Groove. He's super expensive, but maybe he'll just do it just because. But he sat down, and Lisa, you're to my left, and he goes, Deb, what are you up to? How can I help? What can I promote for you? And I'm like, wow, this is such a group of givers, right? And that's why we're surrounded by good masterminds like that. That's why we join masterminds. I love how Simon has the mastermind in the background of his whiteboard. That is awesome. If you're doing a show, you should always have something promoted. Mine's all in the corner, and it was a GrooveSell, which I try to hide during GrooveAthon. But it's a mastermind with Glenn Ledwell, who was running Mind Movies with them, and obviously they've done a lot of moving and selling and all of that. But then he started this group called Flight Club, and the first rule about Flight Club is you don't talk about Flight Club. So that's the end of that, Angie.
Man, I knew it. You guys were going to be all locked down.
Yeah. But yeah, Donna is part of it. Mike is part of it as well. So we'll be doing a little reunionizing in San Diego. And then they're actually going to be coming to my place on Saturday. Shh, don't tell the governor because I don't think I'm allowed to have anyone over. I came back from like Vegas and Florida, and all of a sudden it was like, no Thanksgiving, only 2 families allowed. And like everyone from Chula Vista is like, that's not happening. We have like 5 extended families. We're not limiting our family on Thanksgiving. But yeah, we're going to get together, and I'm sure we're going to do some videos, and maybe Angie, just for you, we might go live. Maybe. I don't know. No promises. No promises. But I'm glad you asked that, because for those of you watching, if you're not part of a mastermind, start one, join one, right? And Alicia and I have been having this conversation. Angie, Kathy is being part of a group. So again, it was around women, like really supporting one another, and women who've made millions, women who've either sold millions directly or sold millions for others, either in a 12-day period, like the GrooveAthon, or whether it's in a year, whether it's in a day, if you did like a live stream to do a day. But we've been just kind of gathering women together. And again, men can join, like Simon will probably bring you into our conversations, but it's because a lot of women don't respect that or honor it or talk about it. They don't talk about how much money they make. They don't brag about that. So we're getting a group together of people that can just share, not bragging. It's just sharing amongst other millionaire women or millionaire makers or millionaire sellers. I don't know what we want to call that. But yeah, so we'll be in touch, and we'll have our little mastermind within a mastermind, kind of like a dream within a dream. Like Alicia doing a contest within a contest. That blew my mind on today's session. So if you joined late, you definitely want to watch the replay if you're joining from the future, because Alicia dropped some gold bombs, and Angie was helping Alicia. Kathy and Angie are doing business. Simon and I have been doing business for like 20 years. We've promoted each other's stuff. We've made each other at least hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not $1 million. Right? Like, I mean, Quantsite and Blog i360, you were one of the top affiliates. I feel like each of us made $1 million from that at some point. So yeah, this is the room where it happened. So thank you all for saying yes to the GrooveAthon, and then coming tonight to make up for all the lost time of not going live and neglecting my YouTube channel. I'm sure YouTube will ding me because I didn't go live for a month, but we're making up for lost time. So I love each of you. Kisses for each 5 of you.
Bye.
Oh, bye, Angie. Bye. And now I have to hit the unbroadcast button.
And